as big as Magic the Gathering, but like we just don't know because we don't talk to them.
Hey, George.
Yeah.
Is that what I just said?
Yeah.
I feel like that's
Louis
what I just
Louis
said.
nailed it this week.
Yeah, I feel like that is
Louis
exactly
nailed
what
it
I felt
ADHD
like.
this week.
Okay.
All right, so guess what? I'm clear, Louis. I cannot say these cure cancer. Is that right? These
No.
won't cure your cancer, but they're probably equally as likely as the other chips to cure cancer. Is that right?
Sure.
So they're equally as likely to cure cancer, but they taste way better. Oh, have you started filming? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Welcome to Metazoo be with you, America's most sponsored TCG podcast. I am, of course, joined by the man whose GOAT can almost make it past the first round, Josh.
We're still in the era when no one knows what you're talking about.
Jordan's the obvious GOAT.
Is this a Taylor Swift thing?
My
Keep it
cardigan
going.
is.
Keep it going, boys.
And I am, of course, joined by the man who thinks the only thing that's allowed to pump are things with dust codes, sorcery, and chippies. Louis DeGeorge.
And we're joined by George, who gets more from our sponsorship than anybody on this podcast.
Box 1. Box 2.
Are we getting right into the fact that this is a sponsored podcast?
Yeah, we're celebrating, baby. This is celebration.
We've made it.
There's no audio, but it's hilarious.
Listen, product placement is everything, buddy. What do you mean I'm in?
All right, we're gonna get demonetized by having Wayne's World.
100%.
No, all the clips are short
You don't
enough.
need to be monetized anymore.
not.
You're
All the,
sponsored.
all the clips are short enough.
We don't
Don't
need
worry.
this.
I'm just going to have Tay-Tay blasting in the back all episode now.
All right, let's get the sponsorship out of the way first.
Let's see if they can figure it out from that intro who the sponsor is. It's a big surprise.
Proud to announce that somebody wanted to sponsor May the Zoo be with you after 3 years. After 3 years and 200
Oh my God.
episodes.
That's
We are finally sponsored.
that's like 380 hours of episodes.
We're finally, those of you who have listened to all of it have spent 15 days of your life listening to
And we
us.
finally suckered somebody into sponsoring us.
Is it 15 days of content?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, God.
We are now sponsored this month, at least. We'll see if they want us back next month. By Booster Snacks. And I know what you're thinking. This is not a snack rating podcast, but you've got 3 fat people on this. Are we allowed to say that? Yeah, we're fat.
Yeah.
We have 3 fat people on this podcast who love to snack. And so we thought Booster Snacks fit the
And
repertoire
We
perfectly.
should point out that others have actually tried to sponsor us before, mainly TCGs.
Yeah.
But we have an interesting track record with predicting good TCGs versus dead TCGs.
I thought you were going to say we had morals, so we waited for a real company.
That's also true. And but I will say this: as little as we know about TCGs is as much as we know about food.
We are good snackers. So Booster Snacks, you can pick up Booster Snacks on their
On a
website.
discount.
On a discount. We have a 50% off code, which is collect50, all caps, collect and the number 50 at Booster Snacks. Is it just straight up boostersnacks.com? It is boostersnacksus.com. I'm going to tell you a little bit about these Booster Snacks. You can get 50% off with our code, collect50. They are delicious. There's 2 flavors, Fireburst and
I will
Ice
warn.
Ranch.
I'm going to warn you guys.
Yeah.
I like spicy food, so it's okay for me. But these are what other chip companies wish they could make.
Yes, you're stealing my take. Other chip companies have kids pulling them off the shelf and eating them. This chip company,
made by kids.
you have to buy them. The
Not this
Fireburst are very spicy. Can I tell you
They're
guys
good.
the secret? As somebody who got a case before you guys and then got my case, can I tell you a secret?
Yeah.
Mix the bags, and it is the absolute.
Can I tell you a secret?
They have it on the website too.
I've already done that.
They are so good. They are pretty spicy, but they also have collectibles. And if you get a case, you get a collectible. And then on the back of them, they have just like
Dust.
sorcery.
They have dust.
Just like
They have dust
sorcery.
code.
They have dust codes that you peel off, and you can collect all. Josh, you got your poster? I got my poster.
We can't confirm or deny this. I think the dust codes will be, you can use them on the sorcery system.
No, you
The chip.
cannot.
I think you might be able to.
You can collect all 75 of their.
Every
not-
card
not
is
Pokemon.
limited. Every card is limited, and they're only doing one print run every 5 years. So it is 5 times more collectible than sorcery.
So,
That's true, by the way.
Legitimately waited for this podcast to open this bag of chips Don't think I'm going to participate in much discussion, boys. I think
Aren't they delicious?
I'll be honest. Let me be clear here. I was willing to lie, but like they're actually really good.
Yeah, me too. Was willing to lie. Don't have to.
Don't have to.
I don't let my daughters eat the Fireburst ones because they're too spicy, but my kids love the Icy Ranch.
All right, I'm taking off my Tay cardigan. It is freaking hot in this thing. It is summer in South Carolina.
It's because the chips are so spicy.
That's enough of the sponsor ad. Sorry for going longer, but
I'm not sorry. We made it, boys. It's time to celebrate.
They are delicious. All right, we're gonna skip the topics today. We're just gonna roll. You guys just want to roll for it? No. All right.
I'm in.
Let's roll.
We never talk about the topics anyway, so it makes no difference what you say they are.
We're going to talk about Magic. We're going to talk about Metazoo at the end. We've got all the other games.
We also have a special sponsor for the Metazoo segment.
We also have a Yu-Gi-Oh section today, which has never happened before. This is going to be a banger of a podcast, everybody.
Just a banger.
Put us in your ears, and go about your day, and listen to us all
The
night.
chip company knew what they were doing.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
This is going to be a banger episode. We got to get in now.
There was a $3 million Magic the Gathering card sold this week.
Of course.
$3 million. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Wizards of the Coast leaks. We're going to talk about sorcery. We're going to talk about Yu-Gi-Oh. I can't do it. I have to tell people.
You're saying the topics. You're just saying the games.
151's tanking, Goat Kana, and Metazoo Minute. All right.
I know what you're thinking,
Magic
everybody.
card.
Last week I was told that we have to end the podcast on Lorcana, and this week we ended on Metazoo. I'm as confused as you are,
You
but I'll
agree.
carry
Well,
on.
You
this
agree to bring
week's a
back the Metazoo
special
Minute.
occasion, buddy. This week's a special occasion when it comes to the zoo.
Mike Waddles showed his face.
I had to ask if that was him. That was my first text to George.
All right. $3 million Magic the Gathering card. That's I want to talk about what it was first. And then I want to get into, did it actually sell for this amount or who did it? So a Alpha Lotus graded by CGC Pristine 10.
CGC.
One of one. Now there are two BGS graded. So if you wanted a real grading company, BGS did grade two of these.
Doesn't
Alpha.
CGC have the highest selling sorcery card as well at this point?
No,
I believe the
think it
Sorcerer's
does.
Stone from CGC was the highest selling card.
It's also Philosopher's Stone, but
Yeah.
you know.
Not to me. I will never
so
call it that.
the Alpha Lotus sold for $3 million. First and foremost, let's pretend that this is 100% real. We'll get into that after. But
That's obviously real.
First,
It's
the
pretty-
card's real. Talking about the sale, I have my speculation that it might not be a legitimate sale. So
It's pretty heavily covered by a lot of very major outlets.
Doesn't matter for Louis. Not when it comes to fighting magic.
let's just say that it's 100% real, right? Is this undervalued or overvalued?
I mean,
I think it's right on target.
you think it's right on target?
I do. I think because like the one ring sold for $2 million.
So that's the interesting part.
That was
And,
our
like,
conversation a while back, right? Was would you rather have basically this or the? And we all
and like
said the
Posty
Lotus.
partnered with Tay, so we love that for Posty and Tay.
Hold on a second. Do you think Taylor Swift bought it with her album sales?
As a
I don't
gift
know.
for Post Malone.
Which one of her 14 of the top 14 songs you all want to talk about this week? All top 14? Congrats, Tay.
In the words of our comment section last week, 3 grown men talking about Taylor Swift. Move on.
You know what? People who hate Tay, yeah, we'll go back to talking about toys now, you guys. All right, we'll get really tough and manly and talk about toys and games now.
I am Team Kim Kardashian.
That was out of left field. I didn't see
I
that
have no
coming.
clue what the beef is. Not gonna lie, I have no clue what the beef is. Yes,
I'm Team Haley Williams.
My
Haley
wife
Williams
was
better than Taylor Swift all the way.
Heck yeah.
Not even, it's not. Frankly, it's not close.
Okay,
I agree
back
with
to
that.
me. So, George, you think it's accurately priced?
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, I think this should be worth more than the One Ring, and I don't think the One Ring didn't we have that stupid Logan Paul sale of $7 million for the thing, and there's nobody behind him at $7 million, right? There's nobody buying that card for. Nobody's paying what he's paying.
You're
for
talking
that
about the
Pokemon
Illustrator
card.
Pikachu,
For the Illustrator
PSA,
card.
PSA 10
Yeah.
Illustrator.
Nobody's behind him. You could convince me that Posty could sell the One Ring today for $2 million. That would not shock me if that that sale came out. So I mean, like, it wasn't a BS sale. He didn't comically overpay. So like, this seems about right to me. This card I think should be worth about 50% more than the One Ring.
Josh,
So I don't know. I agree that it should be worth more than the One Ring, and I don't know if you start to get in that world of whales. It's a space I've never had to exist in. But it's like, might as well go $1 million more. Why? It's a nice round number. Like, it feels to me like it should be higher than the One Ring, but 3 might be too much. Like a massive jump in sales. The most expensive card ever sold for 2 million. Then the next time we get the biggest sale ever, it's at 3 million, not 2.25, 2.5, anything, up at 3, right? So that to me says maybe this is a bit overpriced. Now, dude, it's rare. It's got to be one of the rarest cards.
Probably
like,
one of the top 5.
Yeah, from original Magic in beautiful condition. Like, I see it. I think it might be a little overpriced.
Yeah, I mean, I think the pricing. I'm kind of on George's side. Like the pricing.
I'm out.
Seems about accurate.
I'm with Josh.
The pricing seems accurate for what it is. I think my gut goes to like what I would much rather own a BGS 10 in this than CGC.
I think most people would, but I will say this: like CGC has some monster sales all of a sudden.
Well, and like this is my.
We're gonna get into your conspiracy theory where you can FUD Magic in a minute.
I'm not FUDding Magic. I'm FUDding
you're FUDding Magic. You're FUDding
I'm
Magic. It's not
FUDding-
worth it. You're FUDding Magic.
He's flooding CGC for sure.
Which is
You
like
know.
I want to say like my attitude is changing because of stuff like this. First off, but I still want to FUD it up because that's what I do.
That follows. There you go. You know, I think a BGS 10 should go for more than 3 million. I think a BGS 10, not Black Label, obviously. I don't think there's a Black Label. A BGS 10, for those of you who don't know, Black Label is perfect. It's like me. It's like the me of cards. A BGS 10, I think, should go for about 4 to 5. And that also passes my smell test. I think a BGS 10 Alpha Lotus should absolutely go for $4 million.
So there are only 2 BGS 10s.
Yeah,
one of them is owned by the Pop Report has it as Sorcery Contested Realm on the Collector Center on BGS.
All right, Eric, this is your moment. Put it in a booster box of Arthurian Legends. Time to do it. Time to pump your sales, baby.
I think the point of the BGS is like I'm not sure anybody who has one of those sells it, right? Like if you own one of that, it's just it's off the market. It's just gone, right?
They
like,
don't exist.
They don't like yeah.
They don't exist.
Which makes this the next highest card on the market. But so here's my problem with this card sale is that it was never on the market. Like it was never up for auction. This was not like it was up for auction. It was public. It's all we don't know.
Do you
The
think
seller.
the Logan Paul sale was real?
I mean, I think Logan Paul has a. So I do. I think it's as real. Hold on. I think it's as real as something can get for a influencer. Logan Paul got more than just a card out of that. He got a video. He got a whole plethora of.
Yeah, that's not the question. But like there was no auction.
Isn't that notoriety and that exposure the same thing you're alleging CGC has to gain?
So that's my point. Is like we don't know the seller or we don't know the buyer of this card. There is no. It is
that makes sense to me.
That cardigan felt good, but it's hot.
That makes sense to you that we would never know that stuff?
It's a big sale.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if the One Ring sold, remember there was always you can't advertise to anyone else. You can't tell anyone who bought it, right?
Except for that it
bounties. What?
Except for that it did. We have
sold one of those.
That's because it went to freaking Post Malone, right? There's a massive gap there between private seller A and Post Malone.
Yeah.
It just all the offers for that card were under those exact same circumstances. If I were to go out tomorrow and buy a $3 million trading card, if I didn't have a YouTube channel, I don't think I'd want to advertise that. I don't think I'd want people to know that I made that purchase.
Yeah, I mean, like
as somebody who bought a lot of very, very high-end indie TCGs, I don't like to make my purchases public either for very different reasons. I've done that.
Buddy, wear them like a proud shelf of failure.
Most of them are twice as rare as a Lotus and worth less.
Nothing. Unsellable.
Oh God, we did that research this week when I asked you guys those questions. Oh,
Louis banned from the group chat. That's the biggest takeaway. Louis rained on my parade.
That hurt.
So
that hurt me.
So I want to be clear. Like I understand the idea that like 2 private sellers, like people don't want if it's not Logan Paul buying it, or if it's not if it's not Rudy buying it, or if it's not Post Malone buying it, there's no point to show it off.
Congrats to Rudy for making that trio. Congrats to Rudy for being Logan Paul, Post Malone, or Rudy. That is the biggest compliment Rudy has ever gotten on this podcast. That's the trifecta.
You know what's sad? We're more likely to get the first two as guests.
No.
I don't care about anything on the podcast. I just want to get Rudy for a guest card, win the card.
That follows. I don't care anything about the podcast. Welcome to Metazoo with you.
Yeah,
thank you to our sponsor, by the way.
I was about to say, great piece of content to sponsor.
Thank you to our sponsor.
We will. I think Posty is actually a better than Rudy on the podcast.
I think Posty's more likely.
That's actually something that could happen. Logan Paul could have happened, but Metazoo completely screwed.
Metazoo, yeah.
Thanks a lot,
screwed us
Mike.
on this one.
Thanks a lot,
Jeez.
Mike.
So, Louis,
that's
I think
the biggest loss of everybody.
I think you're close. The conspiracy that you should have taken, in my opinion, not to get too conspiracy theory.
I never finished it, but go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. Finish. I thought you were done.
Your conspiracy was it didn't sell.
Yeah.
No, my conspiracy is that it's one of those things that's
Not a real sale.
Encouraged by CGC. What
does that mean? Were they do they have a little pom-pom section?
So recently I saw another grading company that's not anything that anybody cares about. And they graded a Illustrator Pikachu. So one of 300 cards, right? Or one of 30 cards. I think there's 29 of them, something like that. And they graded it and they promoted that they graded it, and shout out to this influencer who graded with us. And it was this whole big thing. It's such an obvious ad. The guy who graded it with Blanket Grading Company got paid to grade it with Blanket Grading Company. And so this seems like a marketing thing to me for CGC. Well, and not that there's maybe there's nothing wrong with that, right? Maybe there's nothing wrong with that, but also maybe there was a high-end Black Lotus sale that the person at CGC finds out about and says, hey, let us middleman this sale. Let us put it in a pristine 10. Let us, take the credit for the sale and let us pay you to do that.
So you think the pristine 10 is a conspiracy as well? It's not actually pristine.
That looks pretty clean.
It looks good. I'm not saying it shouldn't be a pristine 10. That's not my point. My point is
what it sounded like you were saying.
Let's say you are CGC.
Alert, Josh.
Let's say you are CGC and you get wind of a PSA 10 that's about to be sold, right? And
sure.
You hop in and you say, hey, listen, it's a $3 million card. We'll pay you guys $50,000, $100,000, whatever it is, to let us put it in a pristine 10 slab and move it that way so we can use that, because this is huge. That isn't.
That's a ton of risk.
I would not. If somebody wants a PSA 10 versus a CGC 10, it ain't gonna be $100,000 to make that switch. It's a $3 million card.
Also, CGC is incurring a ton of risk in that scenario with the reslab process. Because maybe I'm assuming that CGC is not our grading process is the exact same as PSA. Every PSA 10 will come through as a CGC. What if it breaks their practice? What if it's not as good? What if it's lost or damaged in transit? What if any number of things could happen while you're handling that card? You're incurring this risk.
I think that risk is well worth CGC to have the advertisement of the highest selling Magic the Gathering card of all time. This is the dream. My point is, this is the absolute dream for a grading company. For a grading company to have this sale is the absolute dream. Is it? Are you going to grade things with CGC now? I mean, no, but I think this adds a lot of value to CGC. That's the point of this. That's the point of this.
I think that's true. I think that part of what you said is true. Let me be very specific here.
You're just not in on the conspiracy theory.
I'm not in on your conspiracy theory. There's a shocker right now.
One of these delicious chips real quick.
I've been chomping the whole time.
I listen. I think CGC is just CGC seems to be holding up fine in everything except for one game, but that game has its own problems. Shout out to Pokemon. Everything else, their Magic sales don't seem to be getting hit too hard. Their indies don't seem to be getting hit too hard, other than Metazoo, but I suspect it's a Pokemon problem.
They're winning Sorcery. They are. Yeah. And so here's where I want to go with. Beckett is having all sorts of issues. Beckett looks awful right now. I would. Oh yeah, I low key regret having Beckett slabs.
Shout out to low key. I love that. I love that for us. We are so hip. I love that for us.
That's me. I'm a chip eating.
Us and posting.
Look at the shirt I'm wearing.
Wow.
That is a low key hippie shirt.
That is a high key shirt.
That
is a high key shirt.
We've reached the sellout arc. I love it.
I'm here for it.
Listen, they're delicious. They're delicious in their snack.
We read the sellout arc. Listen, they're delicious.
Listen. The money for the podcast is great. It's fine. It's like not that big of a deal.
George, we get money?
I haven't got my money yet. Have you?
No, don't you do this. George donated his.
Yeah.
So,
Say less awareness month.
So the point is, I think like this is the dream for a grading company. And I think there is way more shenanigans than you guys are leading on that happens on the market like this.
But like, I think saying there's shenanigans and going to a conspiracy theory are not the same thing.
I mean,
you've gone from skipping rope to jumping rivers.
Like saying that CGC might have helped find the buyer and seller totally passes my smell test.
All right, let me. I guess I didn't know this, but there was a seller. It was Adam Kai of Pristine Collectibles.
Okay, so we now know the seller.
Okay, the buyer was undisclosed, though.
Just so you know, that doesn't change Louis' opinion on it.
No, not at all. New facts will not change Louis' opinion whatsoever. But the only thing that changes Louis' opinion is tendies.
Buddy, I think you had a chance to get even me on board if you took this in the direction of, remember the crypto scam? The guy who stole all the crypto and turned it into magic cards?
Oh, yeah, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Is that this guy? Is that this guy?
That's 100% my... If I were to take a conspiracy theory, it's the first place my brain went. You don't know this. You don't know the buyer. You know the seller. Overpriced magic card. Found a guy trying to hide his crypto, baby.
Let me add even more to the conspiracy theory with the words of the CGC salesperson or vice president, Matt Quinn. We graded this Alpha Black Lotus as part of a crossover submission in 2023, and now it's become the highest selling magic card to date. I am honored to have been part of this card's journey and to see it in the CGC Cards Pristine 10 label. The tremendous amount commanded by this Alpha Lotus is reflective of the trust that collectors and dealers place in CGC cards.
I don't think that is a conspiracy theory that somebody prefers to go to CGC. It doesn't say who it was crossed over from, does it?
It does not. Of course not.
It could have been like tag grading.
Who's gonna grade a Alpha Lotus with tag grading?
That's been the location of the best Alpha Lotus for years.
Has it?
No, I'm just.
Oh,
that would be funny.
Also, I think Tag Grading is the grading company that was the that I was talking about.
It was. It was a full circle for you. Circle gets a square.
So I guess I'll close my thoughts on saying
everything's a conspiracy. Magic is dead. Louis.
No,
I'm saying I got new information, but I don't care. It's more fun to think it's a shit.
No, so this does make me like the alternative to this is Beckett, right? Because like PSA, the 10s are so much easier than Beckett, and I don't know. I just like I don't know where I stand with grading anymore. It just seems like it might all be a scam, to be honest with you.
I mean, here's always been my theory. It's like, it's like there is a fair amount of variance in grading.
Yes,
I have a few Black Label cards. I will guarantee you.
What do you have in Black Label?
Huh?
What do you have in Black Label?
I have a bunch of Pokemon Black. You helped me with this purchase of the Black Label Pokemon cards like a year ago, Louis.
I don't remember that.
Great middleman.
God.
Yeah, you got my phone number, George.
Worst person alive. I was literally on the phone with you for hours talking to you about this.
I don't remember that at all.
I was trading the ETBs for it.
I remember.
Oh,
there you go. Now we got it.
I thought that was CGC.
No, some CGC, some BGS Black Label.
Okay.
And like, I will guarantee you, if I cracked those cards out of that Black Label, if I did no damage to the card whatsoever, and I resub them to BGS, I would be stunned if I got another Black Label back.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I've done that with BGS. I've crossed BGS 9s to BGS 9.5s.
Yeah, I mean, there's a fair amount of variance in grading, but it does give you a range, right? Like, I don't think I would submit it and get a 4, right? Like, I'd get a 9.5 or a 10 probably.
Right.
So I mean, I think you just gotta, people. I get why people love grading because it's a definitive, objective mark that my card is better than yours, and that makes us feel good. And that's the scam, right? That's like, is it better than you? No, I have 2 CGC 10 first edition Charizards.
They're for sale, everybody. If anybody wants one.
They look very different.
George does not believe in Pokemon at all. He's lost the faith.
They look very different. One looks much cleaner than the other.
Right.
To me, I'm not a grader. I don't know, but like I noticed some pretty. I noticed, and I will say I sent it to a different grader to have him analyze them. He was like, "Oh, this one has a chance of crossing. This one has no shot whatsoever of crossing over. Thank God you got a CGC 10."
Yeah.
You could be wrong. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. It does. I think stuff like this for the open market gives a lot of confidence in the grading company, and that's the win for CGC for sure.
I think CGC's on the tear. I mean, also, like, listen, like, they have good turnaround times. They're relatively cheap.
They are killing it in Pokemon. I know you're
They've
high
always
end
been
in
killing Pokemon,
but in volume, they are absolutely killing it.
They have won the Pokemon market. Now the problem is they picked a dead card game to win.
PSA has won the Pokemon market, but like they have gotten second place.
I like PSA.
That could be.
I
true.
really do.
That could be true.
I would not grade anything with CGC. I would only grade PSA for Pokemon.
Really?
I like PSA.
The only reason, in my opinion, to grade, so like in high-end Pokemon, what I'll do is if I get a 9 in PSA that looks really good, I'll either try to resub it to get the 10, which has happened a couple times, or submit it to BGS to get the 9.5, because there's a premium on the BGS 9.5 compared to a 9 on vintage Pokemon, not on new Pokemon.
9 is essentially raw, right?
It's usually raw plus grade.
Not for vintage.
Not for vintage. No.
Right. Well, that makes sense. Yeah,
and not for Yu-Gi-Oh. Like I have
Shout out to Yu-Gi-Oh. Shout out to Yu-Gi-Oh.
I got some Yu-Gi-Oh cards here that I got.
Appearances on the podcast this week.
Huh?
Yu-Gi-Oh. 2 appearances on the podcast this week.
I got some Yu-Gi-Oh cards traded in this week, and the raw copies are like $20 cards. But in a PSA 9, they're vintage. In a PSA 9, it's like $180, and in a 10, it's like $750. I mean, it's like insane. So it's worth it to grade them. But I don't know. I think this is a huge win. I want to talk about what do you guys think this means for vintage Magic as a whole, though? Like the record sale ever. Nothing?
So no, I mean, like, listen, like high-end vintage Magic is still the biggest baller area of TCGs. Yeah, there's nobody else close.
It's also apparently the safest.
How is Pokemon not there, dude?
Because there's one card that has sold for anything close to this, and it was sold to a celebrity who wore it around his neck at a fake boxing match.
Very real boxing match.
Are the three of us going to bet on that match, by the way?
You know what? I can't watch boxing. I will say this, like,
or not, I feel like the three of us should have some money.
The ALS work has made it so hard to watch, like, both football and boxing.
I
like,
can see that.
Oh, I'm watching you get a debilitating disease live. This is wonderful.
Yeah,
that's why you don't like hockey, because it's like actually like football's like kind of not that.
It's very like I got I think 3 concussions before I was a senior in high school playing football. Like it's pretty serious.
I'm not gonna get my position on football. That will get me some shade in the comment section.
Well,
that will get me some actual. That will give me some actual hate in the comment section.
You're a Tay fan. You have to love football right now. That's your job.
I do not love football.
The only sport I like less than basketball is football.
Like I really used to love football. Like I used to love football.
It's dangerous. And it never occurred to me until I started getting asked the question, would you let your kids play football?
Have you seen hockey?
I was very confident.
Nobody cares about hockey. Nobody has seen hockey. Nobody but you and Canadians have seen hockey.
Spoken like someone who's never played football.
Yeah, like I think football is
okay. I actually think this is going to be good for the vintage Magic market. I think this is going to give a lot of confidence on high end. I'm talking like Power 9, maybe some dual lands. Josh, shout out to you with your dual lands. Huge come up, baby. I think.
Did you Sam Louie?
No.
Yeah, okay. I hooked him up. But
yeah, he did. Of course. He's the homie.
As somebody who recently purchased a lot of vintage Magic, this made me feel good. And I think that this is going to instill...
Can't believe you have to use our 4 listeners to pump your vintage Magic bag.
So that's the thing. We're not doing any more advertisements. No GameGrove.gg, no
GamerGrove.gg.
None of that crap. We already
have a separate sponsor for the Metazoo segment this week, though.
All right. I think it's good. I think it's a win. And
I think it's a win too. And listen, Wizards of the Coast wins here too, right? Like this is the freest, best advertising ever.
Yeah.
Like this is amazing.
Do you think this was Cynthia Williams' last act as CEO?
Do you think Cynthia Williams bought it? George, that's the best. You win. You win Conspiracy Theory Power Hour.
She like Wikipedia what's the most expensive Magic card? It's like, Lotus. She's like, oh, I don't like PSA. Can I get it crossed over to CGC?
It's on her mantle at that cigarette company, just getting worse and worse from the air quality.
I just finished a book called The Cigarette Century. It was really good. I learned a lot.
Send it to me. I'm looking for a new Audible listen.
It was a good book. I learned a lot.
You know, Spotify has books now.
You know what I find? I can listen to a book on tape. I find I retain more if I read it. Louis, some of us can read. I know that's hard for you.
So George, I was the same way, but now with no time, I don't have another option. I have to be doing it while I'm driving to work or mowing the lawn, or so. I have no other choice.
Yeah.
So it's better than nothing. It's better than not being able to understand what a book is.
I like when
shout out to West Virginia School District.
I like when you can listen to the author of the book talk on a podcast. That's my thing. My wife's always like, hey, we should read this book. I'm like, I will listen to a podcast of the author talking about that book. That's what I'll do. That's what I
want you to know. I can hear the conversation between you and your wife. I can 100% hear this conversation, and I can see your wife rolling her eyes at you.
I'm not going to read it because I'm not going to spend the time doing it. Listening to a book just doesn't work for me. It's just
that follows.
But listening to somebody talk about their points from a book, like the summary, it's like a summary of a summary. It's like what I did in high school and college, was like read the Cliff Notes version of the book.
I think
5 minutes before the test.
I think I read 3 books in undergrad throughout the 4 years. Yeah. I just did not read in undergrad.
I understand the value of reading, but
I can't do it.
Okay. Wizards of the Coast leaks. So this week we saw a plethora of Modern Horizons 3 leaks.
Fetch lands.
Yeah, that wasn't in the leaks, but it's
dual
okay.
lands.
It's okay. You're not part of this.
Enemy fetch lands.
Go get your refill, buddy.
Go get your refill,
buddy.
Josh.
The enemies,
buddy. Go get your refill.
The enemy things were in the leaks.
No, they weren't. Josh,
they were.
Go get your coffee.
They were.
Your coffee. We're waiting for you. The listeners are punished by you being here during this segment.
Josh, as before we get into the Wizards of the Coast statement about the leaks, which is what I really want this to be about, but tell me, as somebody who has played Modern, who is more active in the Modern community than I am, how you feel about the Modern Horizons 3 stuff.
And this is what makes it. We should have done this after, because this is what makes it feel the most intentional. Is if these are not some of the most powerful cards in the entire set, then we're in trouble. Like this set's like, if this isn't the top end, it's going to get nutty.
Did you see the fake, I think it was fake mountain that was Gaia's Cradle, but red?
No, I didn't see that.
It was like tap to generate mana equal to the damage that you've dealt this turn.
That sounds insane.
Yeah.
I hope it's you know what I find myself wishing every time I look at one of these leaks is, God, I hope that's a commander card so it doesn't ruin Modern. There's a couple that have come out that have been commander cards, and my thought is, I'm so glad that's not here to ruin Modern.
So there's a commander subset?
Yeah. Well, we knew that, right?
I was trying to think about it.
Well, they were going to make the commander decks out of only MH3 cards, so there is a commander subset. Now, how will that affect the pack opening experience? Like, I am infinitely less excited about this because there's a commander subset. Because now I'm buying a Modern set. It's something I get to be excited about, and a certain number of cards are going to be completely nullified for me.
Yeah.
So anyway, so we got leaks, and the
cards are crazy.
Some of them are crazy, but this is why'd you jump into conspiracy theories early? This is the conspiracy theory moment. Yeah. Was it intentional? Was this Cynthia Williams' last act as president was to pump it up Modern Horizons 3?
So I'm always team like
it's a conspiracy
speculation on the conspiracy. Like I'm always like, yeah, it might be. I could see them like purposely leaking things. And then they put out this article that was like, hey, you may have seen all these leaks. And I was like, oh, this is definitely them then. Like 100%. This was Wizards of the Coast. The leaks are way too early.
The Shaggy defense.
Yeah.
When as soon as someone says wasn't me, you're like, it was you then, huh?
Yeah. But also the leaks were so freaking early. Like our orders aren't due for another 13 days.
Yeah, we're a little more than 40, I think 45 days as of the recording of this podcast out. So it's really early to be leaking cards.
I actually think it's really good because as a store owner and I have to like put in so early for sets, I want to see more before I have to put money in. Like I'm going really heavy on the set, mostly because the set looks really, really good. Like
They have serialized cards.
power level looks insane. There's obviously the retro frame stuff. Like I think people are getting more and
They're
more
allied
excited.
colored fetch lands.
Yeah, George, everybody's known that it's not a
Yeah,
leak.
we're not
They
talking
came
about
out
what's
and
in the set. We're
announced
talking about the leaks, buddy.
I was right then. I was
No.
right.
No, those were not leaked.
They weren't leaked. They came out and said that when Josh and I were in Chicago. They said that.
I was right.
And
also-
serialized cards.
Never mind.
I nailed this segment. You're welcome.
I also,
You're welcome, viewers.
So I've got pre-orders up at GameGrove.gg.
Gamergrove.
Nope, not doing that. Booster snacks, baby.
The hype that this has generated, just like my random ass website that I don't advertise anywhere other than on my tiny channel. Like the amount of sales
and a few times we mentioned Gamergrove.gg on this podcast.
The amount of sales that I got this week because of the Eldrazi commander deck is wild.
Yeah,
like
the Eldrazi
people are
one's
just
looking really
buying
good.
that crap up like crazy.
It's going nuts.
And like I had to raise my price because I need them for in-store people too.
So that's a very good store owner once told me that for pre-sales they only sell the commander decks as a set to avoid that.
That's smart. I mean,
In pre-sales they'll only go sell because otherwise they'll find the good commander deck, make a run on it, and then you're.
The problem is that like
that person sounds like a genius.
That my customers will just go buy the single deck from somebody else. Then.
That's fine. You don't care.
Yeah,
you'd rather have a set that you could sell than the 3 bad decks.
I don't think there's going to be like a really bad deck in there.
There could be a Commander Masters element here where even the worst deck still sells.
Yeah, I'm not.
This is George. I agree with you for standard sets. This might be a situation where those sell. And the Commander, I mean, to no surprise, it's the best-selling product for Modern Horizons 3 on TCG Player. The Commander deck set.
I love that. Like people are complaining about it, and then that's the highest selling product.
Well, hold on. Because I complained that Commander was here knowing and stating very obviously, oh yeah, that's going to sell like crazy. It's going to be obviously the best-selling product. Like it's not going to be close.
Yeah, I agree.
The Play Booster box is the surprise, being second. I thought for sure.
Collector's expensive.
No, I thought that most of the time when we see sales with Commander deck sets, an individual Commander deck will follow up the set. So you either buy the set or you buy a specific deck. So it's interesting to see the Play Booster box, and it's that slot number 2.
The collector box is so expensive, and also like,
God, it's crazy.
Well, stores are going to get hit hard. Like I'm not even like I really don't even want to pre-sell any. I've got some of them up, but I'm going to get. I mean, I'm not going to get that many boxes. It's going to be ugly. I told the gold wizards, I was like, put in for what you want, but like, it's gonna get allocated down the line.
Yeah.
So it's kind of. I mean, it is what it is. That's what they need to do. They need to hone in that. I kind of like George's take. Like, we should get 2 of them. You know what I mean? Like, it should be that.
Yeah, it should be collectible.
And everything else should be Play Booster.
It should be collectible. I don't think there's a finite line between, Brothers War collector boxes and 2. Like,
listen, I would y'all get a master case.
Fallout,
I think 1 master case per store would be fine.
Fallout was
1 case.
That. Like, there's nothing.
Right? And it worked fine.
I don't know. I'm going hard though. I'm going heavy. I'm going super heavy on this set. I'm going to order a metric ton of commander decks.
It seems like they have reined in. They did the opposite that I thought they would do. They reined in the printing of collector boxes in these tentpole sets. These major wide releases they seem to be releasing, and again, just seem to be releasing fewer collector boxes.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's interesting, and like with the serialized cards in this, like this collector box seems to have everything, like
everything and the kitchen sink.
Yeah. The only thing it doesn't have is some sort of like subset, unless I'm missing it.
It's got a commander subset.
No, but I mean like the special guest set, like that kind of thing, like a special guest slot.
But that because like Fallout Collector didn't have like a special guest slot.
Yeah, but it wasn't a full set. It didn't have play boosters.
I'm saying that passes my smell test. I would think the special guests and stuff is a way to sell standard product. I don't think this product needs any help selling.
I guess.
Right. This is gonna fly off the shelf.
The whole
regardless.
special.
Yeah. This is gonna be huge. I think
It's like
I think,
special guest.
I think a lot of people thought it was gonna be lower power than it looks like it's.
So
being.
that was the big fear, right? Is did they finally figure out to not push their modern sets? And boy, oh boy, no, they really like selling boxes.
They're gonna break that.
Shocking.
They're gonna break modern again with it.
Who cares? Shout out to Chris Cox.
Hold on.
Get that stock up, baby.
I know that you think that that's a buzz phrase. Define break modern. Change the decks you play?
It'll be format warping.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a straight to modern release. It's the one straight to modern release every 2.5 years or whatever it is. Of course it will be.
And some people love that and some people hate it, which is fine.
Right.
Like, some people don't want that at all.
But that's not breaking
And
modern.
some people are excited about it. Like I know like Tommy is excited about it. He's like
Shout
all
out
in
to Tommy.
Yeah.
And best friend Donald.
Yeah, that's cool. We're gonna do a modern we're doing a modern like huge event coming up in June, I think. I don't know.
That's gonna be fun. I got a bunch of complaints for saying that this is forcing rotation for Commander. That this is because the cards are going to be so good, playing the rest of your stuff is now irrelevant. So it's a forced rotation for Commander. And I said that's the whole point of the power level discussion. So you can play cards you want to play without having to worry about the most powerful stuff.
I don't believe that.
That was the funniest thing I heard.
That would be every set would be forcing rotation for Commander.
Yeah.
June 22nd at Game Grove, we're gonna have an Apex qualifier. Apex is a huge event. It's a $20,000 tournament in this region. So if anybody wants to come down,
Where is your championship held?
I think it's in Ohio somewhere.
Won't go. I only go to Baltimore.
So anybody wants to come down to that June 22nd at Game Grove, it's gonna be great.
Game of Grove.
Everyone wants to go to the championship and then leave with your cards.
We will probably have booster snacks available to buy at the event.
I gotta tell you, it's hard not to crack another bag.
Listen, we're done getting paid. Now it's just funny.
We've done our obligations.
Now it's just because we think it's funny. So. All right, let's get out of Magic. You guys ready? You guys done?
I'm ready, baby.
Oh, okay, sorry.
All right, international sorcery. This doesn't have to be a super long topic, but I wanted to chat with you guys because I'm curious on your thoughts.
You wanted to talk about how you guys are evil?
I wanted to chat about your thoughts on being expert TCG knowledge, people who have been through the ringer with every game ever,
That's actually probably weirdly true.
and are now all in on Lorcana and Star Wars.
Goatkana. I'm not in on Star Wars.
I'm not all in on Star Wars. I don't have any boxes anymore.
George, is Josh not all in on Star Wars?
I don't
100% all in.
I don't have any boxes anymore. I want to be.
Both of you. Both of you. Insufferable.
I'm all in on Star Wars. Love it.
I want to be all in. I don't have any boxes anymore.
Sorcery had their restock thing that happened right this past week, and their first line of the big restock thing was that they were getting a bunch of boxes to Singapore. Was one of the major companies or countries, not companies,
ideally
that boxes went to, and Europe was, I think, supposed to get that. Anyway, the point being,
where the boxes end up, Louis?
Boxes. I don't know how many they sent there. I do know that I was approached by 2 different people from Singapore to buy boxes, and then I saw both of those people also selling publicly on Facebook a couple weeks after they reached out to me, and I know that they reached out to a lot of the Whatnot streamers and whatever. It seems like a lot of those boxes went from, I assume, either China or the USA to Singapore, and then got labels slapped on them and sent back to the USA, which, like, I'm all for, and I was a part of. Like, I bought quite a bit of boxes because, I want boxes. I've got people learning the game, and I want to rip boxes. But from your guys' perspective, is it worth coming out and being like, hey, we're printing boxes for these under, I guess, served countries that didn't have boxes before? Is it worth it to do that with the risk that a lot of them just end up back in the United States?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, they don't care. They sold boxes, and if the people who they sell them to don't want them, they sell them. That's the way TCGs work. I think that's fine. I mean, I think they could do a reprint. I've been on team reprint beta the entire time. They could just reprint beta. They could I don't know. I don't understand how people can be opposed to having boxes on the shelf in a store. I do not understand this argument. Like boxes for a TCG, especially a brand new one, should be available at your LGS.
So then,
Like-
by that logic, you're saying they shouldn't even send them to Singapore. They just should have done like another open.
They should have sent them to Singapore and the Land of Freedom.
That's the biggest takeaway. Is clearly the community needed more boxes.
Yeah, and that doesn't surprise me. Like, I don't like, and I don't even like. And I rewatched the interview because I thought Louis was wrong, and unsurprisingly, he was.
About what?
They were crystal clear on this podcast and others that beta is not a limited product yet. They can reprint it as much as their little hearts desire.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody who's saying anything else, I want receipts, put them in the comments section and Louis will show them to me.
Yeah.
I have not seen anywhere
you're
where
wrong
they
on the
said.
statement? Yeah, I will definitely put it if you're wrong.
I know you would. I have not seen anywhere where they said beta is intended to be a limited product. They said it's meant to be a collectible product. But there's ways to handle collectability without limiting boxes on shelves.
Go.
That's good. That's good. I agree with that.
There's
So, like, at the end of the day, like, I don't like, and I will give Sorcery, like, all right, I'm going to tell you a story. It's George's story time. Sit on George's cardigan, and he's going to tell you a tale.
Let me grab my chips and sit back on them.
So, my best friend from undergrad and I were talking this week, and he asked me, like, what my favorite what TCG do we banter about that he should absolutely play? And to his shock, as a big fan of the podcast, I said Sorcery and Metazoo. And I said, "Do you want to buy a Kickstarter box?" I said, "Do you want to buy 10?" I said, I said Sorcery. I said, it's the game that I think is the best game. He goes, I don't get. He goes, like, is that true? I'm like, listen, like, my issue with Sorcery is the community who doesn't care about the people playing the game, only cares about stonks go up. And like that doesn't actually work, and we've seen it not work in every time somebody has tried this.
Yeah.
And I will give the Sorcery team, the Sorcery employees and company a shout out here. They have not fed into that monster the way the other two TCGs that fed into this monster did.
Yeah.
They have said
they have not collaborated with the shenanigans on the open market.
Right. They have not said, this is our print run. Get your rockets ready, boys. We're going to the moon.
It's out of print. It's out of print. It's out of print.
Like,
everything's out of print.
It's amazing. Like,
out of print.
To their credit, they have done the opposite.
Stay tuned in 3 months for when we're going to have another announcement about another set.
Right.
It's going to be this
You
day.
never know what's going to happen next. I mean, like, to Sorcery team's credit, they have not fed this monster. I do think it might be time to step in and kill the monster, though. I do think it might be time to step in and say, listen, we never said we won't reprint beta. We never said this.
Sure.
Like, if we want to reprint beta, we have that right 100%.
I think you got to trust the Sorcery team to do it in the right way.
Yeah, I don't think they should have me do their PR. Like, let me be clear here. When they do the PR.
When they came out and said, we're going to reprint, we're going to restock in the United States to stores that are hosting events at the release of Arthurian Legends, I thought that was a really good way to do it. Like, I think that's a really healthy way.
I think the event part's good. It's too late. They should do it now.
I agree that it's too late. Like, I think the Singapore thing right now proves that those boxes should have just been to stores who are running events now. That's like that.
It's done both. Why do we can choose?
Well, because people in Singapore, stores in Singapore are like, yeah, I want to buy a bunch of boxes because they know that stupid idiot US stores like me will buy the boxes at above MSRP so that they have boxes to sell and run events and do whatever. So like they made out like bandits, right? Like, I don't know.
I mean, like, they should have reprinted both. They should have, like,
yeah.
I don't know why. Like, I don't know why it's either Singapore or the Land of Freedom.
I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying the boxes that went there.
They can support the Land of Freedom and Singapore.
That's the miss here, right? The miss is just not fulfilling both regions, right?
But it's impossible to know the actual demand because Singapore's like, yeah, I want this many boxes.
So that is always where these new games that get hot have it hard. Is that like, what's your order? 10 trillion.
Yeah.
Then they give you 10 trillion and the boxes go to zero.
Right. And
like,
you have to balance that, but the answer is not zero.
Yeah. Remember, like, Simon came on this podcast, like, they're looking at dust as, like, their analysis of, like, how many boxes have been opened. Like, I think it's time. It's one of the elements. I'm sorry. I should have been more careful. It's one of the elements.
I'm fooling you, Simon. These are all unregistered dust codes.
Yeah, like, you're the problem. Congratulations.
Well, like, the problem is I just haven't taken time to do it. There's only like 15 here. It's not like that big of a
like,
this is a joke, George. Show your roll.
They should do a reprint. Like, this is not hard. This is actually not complicated. And, like, you can do it in waves. Do a small reprint, keep some boxes back, do a reprint in a week.
Yeah, I like the wave thing.
Yeah. But let's go ahead and
TCG does it.
Address the primary comment you're gonna get, right? Because the beta is a collectible product. Don't reprint beta. We collected it. It's gonna ruin the collectability. Spoiler alert, anyone collecting sorcery. If the box isn't on the shelf and the game can't grow and people can't get involved in the hobby, your collection right now doesn't matter. In the long run, the only way your collection is going to be meaningful is if people can play the game and get involved in the hobby. There's no reason a box released this year should be completely sold out as quickly as it was, and all of this going on with the next product still so far off on the horizon we're not even talking about it. That's not how you grow a community. This is one of my biggest irritants. The Star Wars community, sorcery. People want don't reprint Star Wars. I spent all those money on showcase cards. You want those showcase cards to be worth anything next year? Then people have to be able to buy the box and play the game. That's how this works. It's super simple.
The Star Wars community is in that same boat right now, where they're like, they don't want reprints because everybody's investing in cards and stuff right now, and that one's wild because those boxes went from $110 to $250, like literally overnight, with zero. Like, that one's completely demand.
It's very frustrating to see the short-sightedness of stuff like that, and it makes me question.
It's like they want instant money.
That's exactly it. It makes me question the validity of those various communities.
Yeah, like, I have my alpha set. I have no intention of selling my alpha set next week. Like, that wasn't the point of doing the alpha set. Like, the point is, like, loving
that you can drop in conversation like this and flex a little bit.
It's his Lotus. This is CGC.
I have a Lotus.
Did you pay $3 million for your alpha set?
I mean, if you value my time at a lot of money, I probably did.
I don't value your time at all.
I actually feel like that decreases the price of the cards.
It's a free alpha set.
These were Louis?
I've seen how you sleeve your cards. I can't imagine their set's worth a lot.
I have the only BGS 10 card in existence for sorcery.
Who sleeved it?
Me. I opened it and sleeved it.
Shout out to Lauren. Shout out to Lauren.
Lauren, no.
Lauren definitely sleeved that card.
Shout out to Lauren, but no.
Lauren definitely sleeved that card, or more. I know you didn't if they got a BGS 10.
Dude, Moore's like got the lucky hand. That kid opens all the value.
He does. It's like
I opened a bunch of Commander Masters collector boxes for just a crack for singles, and they opened them at my store without Moore opening them, and we lost money. And I said, who said that Moore wasn't allowed to open boxes? And they're like, well, he was working in the front. I was like, next time we open boxes, you go up there, Joey, and you check out the customers, and you let Moore open the boxes because he's better than you.
Yeah, I got the hot hand.
Also, what gaming world are you existing in West Virginia where he is so busy checking out the millions of customers that he can't open a pack?
No, what we meant to say
Grove, baby.
As we learned last week, they talked about Cryptic 3 times a week. So I'm assuming you had a conversation.
It's like check out the customer powwow.
He was probably doing a trade in, not checking out customers.
Talking about Cryptic.
Why does that surprise you? Like,
you talk about Cryptic 3 times a week in your store. Why is that surprising? Is that really your question?
Because we thought Georgia's store was the weirdest community on the planet.
Cryptic killed the idea of new TCGs in my store. There are literally people who are like, hey man, you want to learn Lorcana? And they're like, no. Remember when I bought Cryptic and then the game died? I don't want to do that again.
I want you to know my similar experience.
Do you ever just point them to my channel and say, just check out that guy's background? I get a comment every day saying, don't listen to what this guy says. He's got name a TCG on his shelf. Once a day that comment pops up.
That's pretty good. Anyway, I think this is another one of those learning things for Sorcery where like I don't think
it's wrong. It's not
that they did it wrong. I think like the international demand is just different, and I mean
that's a trap for them, right? If they don't give it to them, then we're around here ranting about how they don't care about the international community. I
don't think we would be doing.
You just don't understand the overseas market.
I don't think
I wouldn't do that.
I know we care about the international
USA. No, I don't. USA all the way.
Do you think Sorcery is going to crack the top 25 of overseas card games on this list?
I loved the Japanese numbers when they came out. I had people tell me, I swear to you, I had people call me and be like, I told you we were big in Japan. We're the 17th biggest game in Japan. I'm on a podcast where we discuss dead TCGs every week, have done dead TCGs for 3 years. I don't think I can name 17 TCGs. That's your flex? That you're the 17th biggest game
I told you,
in the 100th biggest country?
TCGs. Go to Bandai's Wikipedia page.
Yeah.
Just start reading.
That's your flex. And apparently, everybody in Japan just plays Yu-Gi-Oh.
That's true.
Which is the least shocking thing in the entire universe.
That was the pivot. Is it your moment, Louis?
Well, no, I'm gonna hold off because I have one more thing to say about
that. Was so perfect.
It was.
I did a conversation with Nerd and Proud of It, who's a European content creator for Sorcery and Vintage Magic. We were talking about distribution. He worked for a distributor in Europe and how absolutely different it is. Huh?
You must have worked for Asmodee?
No, Black Rock.
Oh, really?
Black
Okay. Yeah.
Fire, Black something. I don't know. Yeah. And how different it is from United States because there's so much fewer LGSs and there's so much more risk for the distributor. Like the distributors just don't care as much about anything that's not Magic or Pokemon because the amount of risk is so much more increased because of the lack of LGSs and the quantity of LGSs. I thought that's like a strictly bizarre scenario to be in for a game company because I almost think you have to figure out an alternate form of distribution if you're going to be successful in those markets. And so I don't know if that's like being creative and working with content creators and being like, hey, go out to the LGSs and see how many boxes they want. We'll ship them to the content creator. The content creator goes to, brings those boxes, somebody that you trust. I don't know. But like it gets really weird in those European countries where there's not that many LGSs and the distributors aren't taking risks that like they should be doing. But.
George, do you ever worry that if you keep making that face, it's going to get stuck that way?
No. Every time I look at they could partner with content creators. Jeez.
Why?
How self-serving. They could partner with
I am not in Europe. They're not going to partner with
fat people in Hawaiian shirts.
Listen, there is nothing wrong with people who partner with fat people in Hawaiian shirts, okay? Fat people in Hawaiian shirts know what's up.
I'm not saying they should partner with me. I'm not in Europe. But like partnering with people who care about the game to get the game in LGSs, I think is a win. So anyway. That's my last plug.
That was what we did instead of doing the perfect pivot I set up for
Ladies and gentlemen, now is the transition to you.
I set that up so unbelievily well for you.
George, tell us about your Yu-Gi-Oh!
What?
You're the one that's all about
buddy.
this.
You're the Yu-Gi-Oh! Expert on this podcast.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Expert.
I can smell you from here.
I stole your product. So like this was the Guinness Book of World Records largest TCG, I think, tournament.
Hold on. That was the funniest joke I've ever had on the podcast.
Pretty good. The three Yu-Gi-Oh! People that ask for Yu-Gi-Oh! Every week are going to be pissed.
When do you do the be kind to others? Is that the end of the segment, or when is that?
I want to apologize for it because that was unnecessary and probably
never. Unfair. I want you to know I do not accept the apology because nobody should apologize for making jokes about one another. But that is the backbone of our friendship and definitely this podcast.
Yeah.
But also, it was really funny. So
yeah, that's all that matters. Yeah, you can be as mean as you want, as long as it's funny.
There's a scale.
If it's not funny, it's offensive.
Yeah. All right. Yu-Gi-Oh!
There's 8,000 players.
Yeah. So what was the event?
Championship. And
it broke a world record according to the gamer.com.
I just said this. I literally just said this. The Guinness Book of
Hold on,
World Records.
is this your first experience with Louis regurgitating your take?
I was too busy thinking about my funny joke.
It's the Guinness Book of World Records largest tournament ever.
Which is
Wow,
funny.
that's
You would
amazing.
think, based on the hype on this podcast, that would have belonged to Lorcana.
Well, they
Can
would
we-
have if they had 8,000
Okay.
seats.
Can we start? Can we start by apologizing for never talking about Yu-Gi-Oh? Did
I
we
would like
do
to
that?
apologize to everybody
absolutely
who I
not.
mocked for saying that my game is big in Japan, because apparently for one of these games it actually is true. It just happens to only be Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah,
Like,
I apologize to absolutely nobody.
one of these games is actually big in Japan. It just happens to be Yu-Gi-Oh! This stunned me. Did this not this shocked me?
It did initially, but the more I sat on it, the more it made sense. Like,
Why?
Because we have constantly called Yu-Gi-Oh part of the big three, and yet none of us can find a successful recurring Yu-Gi-Oh event. Like, we never see him in numbers, so it has to be happening somewhere.
Look at Louis' face. He's getting ready another one. There's another singer coming.
I don't know anybody who cared about Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, but that's my point. It has to be happening somewhere for it to be the third biggest TCG. I think we just found where. I think that's where.
Listen, I think that's fair.
It's just Japan.
Yeah,
No, I mean, I don't think it's just Japan, but I think clearly
it's
that's a huge number.
it's the third biggest TCG. It's not popping off here in the land of freedom, where TCGs pop off. And you don't hear much about it in Europe.
But hold on.
It's doing something to become the third biggest TCG.
I think the huge TCG content creators, Yu-Gi-Oh is massive in the content creation side. Like, there are content creators that have as many subscribers as Rudy and not as.
Is that true?
Oh yeah. Like,
The Yu-Gi-Oh, of course.
there's I get them all the time because of the guest card winning card algorithm. Like, it's just connected
Because
to
you
it.
stole it from a Yu-Gi-Oh guy?
Because I stole from a Yu-Gi-Oh guy. But there's a lot of that. Like, I wonder maybe if this isn't just a complete and utter blind zone to us, and the stores that we care about also don't care about Yu-Gi-Oh.
That I could totally believe.
And there's this huge Yu-Gi-Oh world where Yu-Gi-Oh is as big as Magic the Gathering, but we just don't know because we don't talk to them.
Hey, George.
Yeah.
Is that what I just said?
Yeah.
I feel like that's what I
Louis
just said.
nailing it this week.
Yeah, I feel like that is
Louis
exactly
nailing
what
it
I felt
ADHD
like.
this week.
Okay. I'm just making sure I wasn't going. I didn't know if these booster snacks were getting to my head, but
Getting
right.
that dust.
Can I tell you,
it's
can I
the
tell you
duck
the only problem with the booster snacks?
What?
They make you very thirsty because they're very, very, very flavorful. The amount of flavor is huge, and we still haven't been sponsored by Prime.
what if I
we
land us a Miller Lite sponsorship, buddy?
good.
we need
I'm good.
we need to get a Prime sponsorship to circumnavigate the thirst that I have because of these booster snacks.
I think we should get a Miller Lite sponsorship. That would be the best.
Should I start carrying Yu-Gi-Oh?
No. Shout out to Yu-Gi-Oh. I mean, Yu-Gi-Oh's killing. I mean, listen, that's a big number.
Yeah, it's huge.
And also, I think there was a lot of discussion, there was a lot of discussion of non-Japanese people could play in the tournament or not. There seemed to be some misunderstanding about if that was possible or not. So I think this could have been even bigger.
So
that's huge.
it's just so I want to compare this to the SGC Con that's this weekend. Because the SGC Con has some massive, massive events. They're doing a $20,000 Magic the Gathering tournament. They're doing a $5,000 Lorcana tournament.
No.
The top prize for Lorcana
What do
is
you mean? Oh,
$1,000. Star Wars has a $1,000 top prize, I think, for the Star Wars tournament. I think there's a Flesh and Blood one where the top prize is half that, $500 or something.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's the one you got to go to, man. That's the one you're going to win.
There's gonna be lots of people there than Star Wars.
It's not funny when it's true. It's sad.
So but there's no
Wait.
no Yu-Gi-Oh here.
Is nobody else scared about this? I don't care about that so much. Is anybody else scared of this now?
Scared of what?
The fourth box for Goat Con comes out, and SGC picks it up a big tournament for it. Geez, where have I seen this movie before?
So here's the thing.
That's
I
all
think this
SCG
shows-
events are run this way.
I think this shows how much demand there is for Lorcana and Star Wars. Like this is huge. Like for
I'm so
Star Wars to be here, like the prizes are hilarious.
I don't want 2 years of down only.
It's all cash
2
for the
years.
Star Wars.
2.5 years, 3 years of down only.
It's all cash for the Star Wars because like they don't have any product. Like they're like, what are they gonna give out? Like,
That's awesome. They're buying cards at the event off collectors. We need prizing. Sell us your showcases.
there's so many Magic events. It's crazy, but like there's no Yu-Gi-Oh. So like, obviously, SGC is in the same boat as us, where like Yu-Gi-Oh doesn't exist. Is it just Japan?
I have no idea.
I
I like
think it's just Japan.
Yu-Gi-Oh totally baffles me.
Yeah, it's weird. It feels like this might be
It's like-
one.
it's-
Boys.
What?
We might not understand the Japanese market, like legitimately. We might not.
Like it is the number 3 game on TCG Player, right? I'm just pulling this up right now.
That doesn't
It's
surprise
number
me.
2 on TCG Player.
So what doesn't surprise me is like I know a ton of people who are like, oh yeah, I played Yu-Gi-Oh when I was 15.
Bingo.
Like, there's so many people who were like, I thought I was Yu-Gi and like
Had the heart of the cards.
I had the heart of the
My
card.
brother had the arm thing that you could put cards in and pull that was the if this Yu-Gi-Oh tournament, if you're not required to draw your cards from a thing on your arm, I'm out.
It's out. It doesn't count.
I'm out. That's the 100%.
It's got the Pokemon feel to me of like people who
Dead?
are nostalgic. No, nostalgic.
Oh,
It's
not-
running an
other
event and
thing.
people are playing it, Louis.
Oh, people are playing it and it's not dead.
Which, by the way,
What
where's-
part of Pokemon does
what's
it feel
the
like to you?
Pokemon event at SCG Con?
I mean, that doesn't surprise.
I noticed you didn't name one.
That's fair. There's no Pokemon event either.
Oh, weird.
Ave Maria.
God, there's so many Magic events. It's almost like Magic's back. Like Magic is so back. It's so crazy.
It feels back. Did you guys watch the Pro Tour?
Mm-hmm.
There were more
I did
viewers.
not. But how many viewers were there?
There was more viewers on day 3 of the Pro Tour than people who will play an indie TCG in 2024.
How many people?
It was more than 20,000.
That's crazy.
I did not actually watch
Like
it.
on just Twitch, not
I
counting
did
the
not know
live
it
streams, not
existed
counting the
until
videos
this comment right
recorded.
now.
More than 20,000 just sitting in the chat. It was crazy.
You know what's sad? That Magic the Gathering is not on ESPN anymore.
God, those commercials.
Those were the days.
We need commercials. We could, Louis, when we're together next time, that's the content to make, the recreation of those commercials.
We get a bunch of girls in bikinis for the background, and we're playing Magic the Gathering. That video is one of my favorite Magic the Gathering videos
100%.
of all time. It's like,
That's Mark the Hammer.
what is the scenario where you're playing? Why would you play Magic the
Outdoor
Gathering
on the beach.
Why would you do
I don't
that?
know.
And
but-
why are there girls there? The girls don't like Magic.
What do you mean? Because it's Mark the Hammer. Also, everyone in those videos was eventually caught cheating. Every single
No
person.
way.
Is that true?
Every single person in those videos was eventually caught cheating.
All right.
Oh.
Now where you go? Let's talk about Pokemon, the greatest thing on earth.
If you're at SCG Con, in which case, it's coming. It'll catch on. I promise.
151 is so wild. I want to talk
Mhm.
about it.
Yeah, so wild.
So everybody knows, unless you've been under a rock, 151 Japanese got a huge reprint this past week. Did we talk about that last week?
Yeah, I think we did. It also
The,
doesn't matter.
the drama behind it.
Mhm.
Well, 151 singles have completely tanked. I mean, down 30%, 25%.
Wait, so hold on. Japanese product got a reprint, but English singles have tanked or just Japanese singles?
This is
Everything.
the Japanese. No, hold on. Right now, I'm talking about Japanese singles are down. Shout out to whoever this is, TCG Daily Card Fever on Instagram. That
One of my favorites. One of my
Gra-
absolute favorite accounts I follow.
I'm an Andrew Smith guy.
graphic I'm stealing.
Really great content all around and an awesome dude.
So this is a really well-designed graphic.
Yeah.
Yep,
The-
absolutely.
The Japanese singles are cratering. English singles they're all right. They're not like down significantly. They're down just a little bit. But it's sealed product that I think is wild. Like Japanese product obviously had a reprint, so it's down a lot. The only thing on English that's going down is the Ultra Premium Collection, which is also the only product that's currently available at distribution. Like
Is that true? Still available?
so one distro, I know you'll know which one it is. They
Dude?
they
Dude
raised
or not dude?
not dude.
Not
They-
dude.
Well, Yeah, but like
I get it. We got our language.
They rose the price by $10, of course.
You could have just said that. I would have known right who you're talking about no matter what. That would have been the tell no matter what.
The other distro is about to bundle it with some, I'm sure, massive $18,000 Pokemon bundle, which I'll buy. I'm going to buy. I'm going to go for it. But we haven't seen a significant reprint. The only thing that's been in stock is Ultra Premium collections. There's not been booster bundles. There's not been any ETB restocks. Nothing. And so the price of that stuff is going up. I know the graphic looks like it's going down, but the green down arrow actually is a price is going up. Daily Card Fever. You should change the green one should be the one that's
you need some help with data visualization. Hit me up.
Yeah, it needs to go up. George, the conversation I want to have is like, why would you not buy into the downturn of 151 right now? What's the downside risk on 151? Almost 6 months after release, and boxes are significantly below MSRP. Because I look at this and I say, this is like the time to buy. But you are hardcore negative Pokemon right now. Convince me.
So far, I've been right on.
Convince me not
so
to.
far, my position on Pokemon has been looking pretty good.
Convince me not to put all my TCG life savings into 151 right now. Tell me why I shouldn't do it.
How much? What product would you buy?
I mean, like, I personally think booster bundles are the play.
No, I go ETBs. You remind anything. How much are ETBs right now? ETBs.
ETBs are $55, 57.
So they're at MSRP. I mean, like, listen, like, I think it's probably not a bad bet. Like, if you're holding for 5 years. But I will say this, like, there's two problems with Pokemon. One is, like, the market is in the dumps. And, like, it can take a long time to recuperate. And, like, Pokemon was not a huge money push until COVID. It could absolutely go back to pre-COVID lows, and it would not shock me. Like, if you compare prices today to where they were before COVID, they look nothing alike. Pokemon could absolutely go back to pre-COVID lows. That would be the big risk for you, is that it's like a thing that like a few nerds are like, I played this when I was a kid, I want it back. And like there's a small market of people and they way overprinted for the actual demand of the product. That is an absolute story that is plausible to me. The other fear, like this is like where they have the reprint policy I most like.
They can just print
but
anything.
They can reprint this in 10 years, and that's well within their reprint policy.
They had Fusion Strike up on the website last week.
They had Evolving Sky Packs up a couple of days ago, a couple weeks ago.
Sold literally instantly.
Yeah, I mean, like, they can reprint 151 in 10 years and fit within their reprint policy. And I support that policy. I do.
I like that policy.
But it does mean that there's a lot more risk in holding Pokemon.
Okay. Let me give you
now, with that said, if you were like, George, give me one product that you think will, like, give me the product you think will age best in 5 years, I'd probably say 151.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a bad bet. I wouldn't make the bet. I think I'd buy the stock market. Like I'd buy some NASDAQ. But like
I'd buy booster snacks at 50%.
Yeah, I mean, like, but like if you're just telling me like
the code is collect 50, everybody, if you've forgotten it.
Like if you told me like, George, this money has to go to TCGs, and you're like, I'm putting it all in 151, I wouldn't think you're a moron.
So if you compare this with Celebrations, right? Celebrations has only 25 cards in the set that matter. The classic collection.
Yep.
The most expensive card is like $70 is the chart. And those boxes are $85 for ETB right now.
When did Celebrations come out?
Early 2021.
So it came out before COVID.
No, I think it was during COVID.
Like right in the beginning of COVID, I guess, maybe.
Yeah.
Like that was before.
No, it was definitely like I got Celebrations from Distro.
Oh, then it was probably after COVID. Then yeah. So like I mean like
middle of COVID.
Okay, so like I mean that was before they owned their own printers,
right?
Which is not insignificant to me. And also like I will say this again, like
I just think this is such a better set than Celebrations.
I agree with that.
It's
And again, like
unbelievable.
I don't
this
think
is
this
an
is.
unbelievably good set for Pokemon.
I think that overstates the case.
Why?
I think it's.
Why?
I think it's better. Saying it's better than Celebrations and it's an unbelievably good set. There's a lot of.
Help me understand why this is not the pinnacle.
I think the Charizard sucks.
Oh, I disagree.
I think the Charizard totally sucks. I think the top case in this set absolutely sucks.
Why does the Charizard suck? Why do
The
you
one that's flying away in the ground that you can barely see is a Charizard. The flying figment.
It makes a whole sequence.
Yeah,
of
nobody
stars.
cares. Like the case,
I don't think that's true.
the top that apparently the market does is $100. Like the top case is $100.
So
like they don't have like, and also like the other fear I would have with this set is like, are they going to like
they need the Moonbryon?
like they have done so many freaking Charizards at this point.
Yeah, Charizard has lost its
Like, yeah, like I mean, like, is this going to be the thing? Is like, I don't want another freaking Charizard. Like I like that to me. Like, there's a lot of risk with this set. I still think it's a good bet.
See,
I still think it's a bet that like I wouldn't like if you were like it has to go to a TCG. It's probably not a bad bet, but like there's some risk here.
So I got to tell you, the one thing we say Pokemon does the best, you know, the collectability, pulling at your heartstrings, making you care about the characters, the stories, the outside IP. That's what makes 151 feel the safest for me, because of all the Pokemon sets, this leans into those themes harder than any other one that I've followed. And as far as the products I've tracked on the market, it sells by far the best. It's still selling a good number of products every single month. It's still popular enough for people to go like it. It sells more than your regular Magic products after like post their release, right? With Magic's rapid release cycle and all that. So George, I got to tell you, this seems like nothing's a slam dunk, and everything you said about the Pokemon market being down and who knows when and if it recovers. But like we often operate with Pokemon's not going anywhere, right? Everyone on this podcast all believe Pokemon's not going anywhere.
I don't think it's going anywhere, but like take out COVID. Look at before COVID.
Sure.
Yeah, but before COVID,
but that's not my point. If Pokemon's not going anywhere and you have an opportunity to get the set that does what Pokemon does best, better than every other set on the cheap, that's what makes it feel like a good idea.
I think it's your best bet in Pokemon. I think that's fair.
I'm going to argue your whole COVID logic too. Like we are 2 years removed from COVID at this point. You can't say that the Pokemon ecosystem hasn't grown significantly as a result of what COVID did, and that there aren't still like people who care about it, even though they're not locked into their house anymore. Like
Pokemon has cratered far more than any other TCG.
But Pokemon also went way more up than any other TCG. Pokemon,
but like, and that's my point.
And Magic 1.5x.
And thank you for stating my point.
We're not comparing Pokemon prices from the pandemic to now. We're comparing like how is Pokemon set that you can buy it below MSRP.
Well, that's above MSRP.
See, I'm not even doing that.
What's MSRP on the ETB?
Oh, well, you're focusing on the things, the
what?
ETBs. You're focusing
on
ETBs. I mean, like the ultra premium collections are below MSRP.
I would not buy a UPC.
Those things are massive. That's the problem.
That's the other problem with any of this.
I guess
is Pokemon takes up a lot of space.
This is why. So, like personally, I already have a bunch of booster bundles. That's kind of like I have booster bundles and I have a full set.
Do you have a complete master set?
I have a complete master set of 151. That's what I'm looking at. What I don't have is any Japanese. And like that's the right now, in my opinion, would be if I was gonna hop in on Japanese, this would be the best time to hop in. Because like
so they've said, I think they said they're gonna do the reprint though.
Right. And like the market has accepted that idea right now. So like prices are down. I just can't figure out from a logistical standpoint how to get the best price on Japanese 151. Like I don't know. Or if I care, like I don't have any other Japanese Pokemon. Like that's not my thing. But it's the only booster box. So it's like, I don't know.
Listen, I think if you're going to put me in Pokemon, 151 is the place I would put it. I'm still pretty anxious about Pokemon. Like, my position has not largely changed on Pokemon.
I have not at all.
I know you're not, but like, it's been down only since you've not been since our two positions have started. Like,
I don't have the belief you have, Louis, that everything is just all of a sudden going to take a turn and everything's going to be the most amazing ever, and it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. But it doesn't make sense to me that it's going to stay down forever. That doesn't
I
make
don't think
sense.
it's going to stay down forever, but like, what you can absolutely convince me of is that like a random Magic set will far outperform it because people actually play the game and like it's a much healthier ecosystem.
So I have lost complete faith in sealed Magic long term. Like sealed Magic.
That seems wild to me.
Why? Look at any box printed in the last 10 years. It's gone significantly down in value over the last 10 months, 12 months.
I disagree with that.
Look for any box printed the last 10 years.
We've seen all of the Amazon dump era product drastically recover in the last 3 months.
So I'm talking about like not things that you can currently order. What has drastically Ravnica or Dominaria Remastered has not drastically recovered. It's still significantly below distro costs on TCG Player.
I don't know if that's true.
It's 100% true.
But as far as like products that you
came out 10 years ago,
products that you can't order, are you saying like Ravnica?
I'm saying take I don't know, an Ixalan booster box, straight up old school Ixalan, or even Throne of Eldraine or Innistrad. Old school Innistrad is down 20%, 30%.
So an old school Innistrad box is down 20% from its release?
No, down 20% from the last 10 years. Just pull up Innistrad.
I guess I don't know what you're alleging.
The point is that my point is that sealed Magic is in a not good place right now because they are reprinting everything. Why would I buy an Innistrad booster box? There's zero reason to buy an Innistrad booster box anymore.
Innistrad booster box is $450 right now.
Right, and 6 months ago it was $575.
Right, but we're talking about buying the product, what you paid for it when it came out. Right? It's going to have ups and downs throughout its life cycle.
That's not what I'm saying. All across the board, investing in sealed boxes, not buying it at $80. I'm saying buying it compared to a year ago, it's down.
Yes, if you target a product that has probably already reached a plateau point, I would agree. Right? These boxes all have peaks that we're never going to revisit your sealed Legends boxes, alpha, beta. We're not. None of these products we'll ever chat about will ever reach that. They will reach different peaks. Mm-hmm. But my point is, modern Magic for the most point is up from its all-time lows and is trending in a positive direction.
I agree. I agree with that.
But that's a sign of positivity. Modern Pokemon is not.
But like if you compare 2 year ago Pokemon and 2 year ago Magic, there's very, very little suggestion that 2 year ago Magic is in a good, healthy position compared to 2 year ago Pokemon, which is only going upwards, like sealed box wise. Why are you both looking at me like that was a completely stupid statement?
Well, do you want to take a guess as to why we're looking at a stupid statement?
Give me a disagree with that with some form
we had used the Discord and told us this was a topic so we could look this up before it being live on the podcast. There was a Discord we had dedicated to this topic.
Again, you just gave us a booster box that was worth $450 and said how bad it was. So like that's
hold on. No, I'm looking it up now because now you got me
to follow. I got to be honest with you.
All jazzed up. What set came out in 2022 for Pokemon?
I'm talking any of the Sword and Shield era.
So, like, Astral Radiance.
Yep.
This is riveting content.
Thanks, Louis.
You're finding some time while you're watching this content to be bored. You can check out Hometown TCG on YouTube and subscribe to my channel because I'm racing to 8,500 subs.
Astral Radiance is a $170 booster box. A year ago, it was $122. All Sword and Shield era stuff is up significantly. Chilling Reign, the worst set. Everybody hates Chilling Reign. The worst set in the world. Everybody hates it. A year ago was $142, and today it is $210.
So I will warn again, like I warned last time, right before the dip happened, that has all happened in the last month. 1 month ago, Astral Radiance was 141, 138.87. All those moves happened in the last month.
That's not
Louis,
true. A month ago,
that is
Chilling Reign was $193 a month ago.
Wait, what? I'm talking about Astral Radiance? Astral Radiance was 138.
Guys, I got to warn you.
On March 20th.
This is very boring content.
March 20th was 138.
Okay.
Like, it is, like,
let's
give it some time.
Neither here nor there. Let's get back on the 151 conversation. I think 151 is unique to everything we're discussing.
Yeah.
Right? 151, in my opinion, I don't think deserves the FUD that you give it, George.
I'm not fudding it. I guess it was the best one.
I think it's going to stand.
I guess it was the best Pokemon set you can buy.
Yeah, I think it's going to stand outside of even your best Pokemon set you can buy caveat, where it'll do well, but not that well. I think 151 is going to be exceptional.
I'm going to widen it because I agree with what Josh just said, but I'm going to go harder. I'm going to say if you can buy Pokemon booster boxes close to distribution price under $100, if you can buy Pokemon booster boxes under $100, it'll outperform any sealed Magic product that you purchase moving forward in the next 3 to 5 years. Like, that's my point. So that is what I firmly believe. So let's move on. I love how heated we get with Pokemon. It's almost like
nobody gets heated.
One of us gets heated during Pokemon.
I love it.
There's a lot of confusion. There's very little heat.
Only one of us gets heated during Pokemon.
There's very little heat.
I love it, baby. I love it.
By the way,
guys, your hatred for Pokemon makes no sense to me, George. Makes no sense. The only thing that makes less sense to your hatred of Pokemon is your love for Goatkana. Speaking of Goatkana, let's get into our Goatkana section. This is you, George.
It's you. You're on.
So we got our allocations for Ursula. So here's my question for you guys. We still don't know our enchanteds yet.
My question to you is, how are you feeling about Goatkana getting all your boxes? Set 4, baby.
Bob Iger, I believe in you, baby. I believe in you, Goat.
Set 4, and George is back to 0 cuts, baby. 0 cuts.
I got some cuts, not a lot of cuts.
How you feel about being 30 days away from release and prices not looking great?
Nothing matters until they release the enchanteds.
Does it count?
Nothing matters until they release enchanted.
Does it count as getting cut if all of your boxes are just moved to 1 week after, which is when wave 2 is?
So that's right. I mean, I don't know when they're planning out. Like, are they gonna keep Enchanted secret until the boxes come out? You think?
So that would be a move. That would be terrible. That would be cool.
No, that'd be terrible.
That'd be so good.
That'd be so good.
The only problem with that is if TCG player doesn't update the singles and have pictures. That sucks, and that wrecks the market. We saw this with Pokemon. Yep. It wrecks. That's the reason Pokemon's tanking.
Look at Louis talking out of both sides of his mouth.
Pokemon.
Look at Louis talking out of both sides of his mouth. I don't know. That's a talent. I don't know how you do it.
I'm just joking.
I like how you clearly weren't joking.
You clearly were not joking.
You were clearly not
used a real example that you pulled out of your knowledge, and
we're gonna open a bunch of Lorcana for singles.
Really? Mm-hmm. That feeling.
I think the EVs can be sky high.
Dude, Lorcana singles sell so ridiculous.
The sell-through rate is insane. The EV is not like
Lorcana's goat
through the roof.
But the EV for Inklands is still like $120 or something.
Yeah, I guess if you compare it to what stores pay,
yeah. I mean, it's like and I think early on it will be significantly higher than that.
I think EV on the box will be $200 plus in the beginning.
Yeah, we're gonna open anything we can't sell, like anything we don't sell at MSRP locally on release weekend. We're gonna crack open because there's a second wave. Oh, we're cracking all of it.
So the waves are weird. It's the week a shipping issue. It's first week, then second week, but we get all of our boxes before Big Box gets anything.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
Which is good for them. Shout out to Bob Iger.
go to gamegrove.gg.
Gamergrove.gg.
If
And
you
there
wanna
might
pick
be a
up some
separate
things.
there might be a separate website for it next week.
Nope, there won't be. It'll be
There will be.
gamegrove.gg.
There might be gamergrove.gg. There might be.
I'm not moving your Lorcana bags.
You're right. You're not. I am, baby.
After all these years of you fudding
After all
up
these
my
years,
channel,
the game's been out for 9 months. After all these years,
you can buy your Lorcana boxes at.
I got my website. I'm ready.
God.
Oh my god, are you going to sell at that website?
I'm here for you selling it at that website. I am all in.
God, maybe
on
I
that.
could tell that website. I already have. God,
Let's
can
do
I
it.
tell that website?
Can I have it?
Let's do it. If you won't do it, I'll do it.
Can I have it? I got fun stuff.
Okay.
Like, yeah, I mean, like, I don't think no data matters until they release Enchanted. Like,
Why-
that's what people buy.
Why do they even make the PVE if they're going to give everybody like 6 boxes of the PVE?
So I got some more than you got. I mean, like,
And I need
it's
yours.
limited. It's limited.
I need yours.
You and everybody else. They're mooning. It's like the Moonbryon. It's like, you know, down bad, by the way, Moonbryon. Like,
True.
absolutely true. Down only. You know, I don't know why they short printed that. They short print troves, and I do not understand why.
Yeah,
Like,
that makes no sense. I agree.
It makes no sense. They print 10 troves and 5 playmats every set. Like what is going on? Like,
How do you-
why can you
all
not print playmats?
Fact checking George 101 here.
Mhm.
Moonbryon in February $540. Moonbryon today $776.
Can you go back before February if you don't mind, please?
Upwards of $900. It's
There
up
you
from-
go.
It's up. Released Moonbryon was, or a year ago, was $632. Today is almost $800. So fact checking George.
You told me it was
live,
700. Now it's 800. Your numbers are changing live
not.
on air.
786. Last sold is probably graded though. 999.
Here's the fact check. Some graded, some not graded. Here's some random numbers.
God,
The
you
Louis
look-
George
It's
story.
all right. You look like such an idiot right now, which is totally fine with me.
I'm not sure that's what's happened here. Like they need to print more troves. They need to print more of the PVE. They need to print more playmats.
The
They
playmat's
seem to
not
have-
being
they seem
printed
to have
in
nailed the
higher
box
numbers
number
is
again,
wild
though.
to me.
The box number is wild because like I'm happy with my number. I'm not mad about my boxes. I'm not ecstatic about I got a lot more than I maybe wanted, but like I'm fine with my boxes, but like I got like 12 troves. Like got hundreds of boxes and 12 troves and 6 of the Ursula things. It makes no sense.
That's how Lorcana is getting to us sealed product collectors.
I
They're
mean, I
always
think
gonna
that's
throw
certainly
some troves.
true. Like the freaking trove for the first set is like $300+.
Well, yeah. They're weird.
I don't
We're going to
get
reprint
that.
the box, but not the trove and then the community being like, well, that makes this collectible.
And I don't get that.
That-
Like,
yeah.
I don't get why. Like, I don't think that's
think
a good thing.
I
and
think
don't get
We're
it.
looking at a Shib and Dragon situation.
So like we talked last week about should they
Oh,
reprint
Moonbryon is up.
we talked about last week, like, should they reprint boxes? Maybe they should start reprinting troves. Like, maybe that's the play.
They should definitely reprint the PVE trove.
I mean, if they're not reprinting troves, it's at this point it's intentional.
I
Right.
mean, it's clearly intentional.
So, well,
Like,
hold on.
They
No,
are
no, no, no.
so short printed.
FUD alert. Throw the FUD alert up there, Mr. Fudder. I don't think it's intentional. I don't think they're intentionally doing it. I think they're focusing on printing boxes because it gets more cards out.
Well-
if you can print if you can produce a trove in the same amount of time you can produce a box, and your goal is to get more cards out, you produce the box, right? Like, that's the point.
I think the difference is they were scrambling to do reprints for set one. And so when they said, hey, we need printer time, they probably couldn't say we need printer time and also we need 2 unique products printed. Right? We need 1 product printed.
Right.
And they chose the booster box correctly.
That's exactly what I just said. You said that they were doing it intentionally.
This is why we can't talk about.
That-
This is why we can't talk about Pokemon on this podcast, because you get so freaking angry. You're
Yeah.
a jackass the rest of the episode.
That sounds.
This
that
is why
sounds
we
like
can't
an
talk about
intentional
Pokemon on the
decision that
podcast,
somebody was made
you get
that I
so
said they were doing
angry,
intentionally.
You don't listen to a thing anybody says. This is why we can't talk about Pokemon.
I pulled an electric Pandoon. This is my
Nobody cares. This is
Yes,
why we
they
can't
do.
talk about Pokemon. This is
looks like
why.
a Pokemon.
You know, I'm shocked that prices have held up the way they have so far on TCG Player.
For reprints? For set 4?
Ursula. Yep, you got it, bud.
Wait, what about the price on TCG
we're not
Player?
allowed,
130?
we're not allowed to sell them yet.
127.
Stores
Yeah,
aren't supposed to put them up yet. I'm not surprised by that.
No, you're allowed to put them up. You just can't ship them till release day.
I thought that they said that stores couldn't put them up. I think it was this week, maybe, that we could put them up.
I don't remember that.
That's why the boxes were like $150 last week, and today they're $125 because all of a sudden we were all allowed to put them up.
With the number of people got, I thought that'd be closer to 110 by now.
Yeah.
Like the prices hold up. Like it's very strange to me. Like the prices don't seem like they have not had that that moment where like, oh my god, these boxes are like at our cost.
So just to be, just fair here, we also haven't seen this happen to the price yet. We have never seen this far out from release the price this low before. Now, we don't know if that's going to hold or dip. No one can predict what that's going to happen. It's not traditional for Lorcana to see it this low this early.
I hope to see. I hope
is that this early.
Not
before release.
I don't remember.
Inklands before release.
Inklands right before release.
140. It was at 145 to 144.
Yeah, I mean it's like $10 off, $7 off.
I hope we see $110 boxes on TCG.
I think you will.
Yeah. I think you might see $100 boxes of this.
I think it'll rebound quickly though. Like I think that at that rate, you're going to see a lot of boxes move. And I think it goes back to what George, what you were saying, the enchanted. I mean, if you have an aerial enchanted here,
bingo. That's what everybody's betting on.
That's going to be a
monster card.
And so if boxes are $110 and you can crack them and you can get a $400 or $500 enchanted. This is where the chase is so important with this set. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like what I missed about Lorcana, the only thing I missed about Codecana is that like the enchanted matter way more than I thought they would.
Yeah.
Like that is why set 2 does not have the price of the other two, the upward trajectory of the other two.
Yeah.
And like Elsa is carrying set 1 on her back.
Yeah, that thing's crazy.
Like the enchanteds matter a ton, and like that surprises me. I cannot imagine we don't get an aerial in this set. I can't imagine. Like that would shock me if we don't get an aerial.
I would love to have somebody on the podcast like we had the banana stand. These companies that are pre-selling 30 copies of Ariel, like
name them. Maybe they're listening. Who are they?
Never grow up. A+ cards.
Account.
All right, never grow up. If you're listening, you have an invite onto the podcast.
He shows up and it's the banana man. Okay.
So it's just
that'd be so good. He comes in with a lollipop as a toddler.
But like that must be their business. Their business. They literally have 2 accounts. They have one selling the cold foil, one selling the non cold foil. They literally must pre-sell these cards and then open enough to fulfill their orders. And
I would think,
yeah,
that's just like a business model. Those guys.
How much are they going for?
$22 for a super rare.
That's an expensive super rare.
I mean, there's only one sale, right? Like,
yeah.
But like
that makes sense. No, so George, you talked about set 2 not being as popular. It is important to note that set 2 sells as many boxes per month as set 3 right now.
Yeah.
Like on a month-to-month basis, set 2 is selling as much. And with set 3 being the newer product, you'd expect set 3 to sell more.
I think set 2 is going to do very well.
Josh, it's also that you got to remember, like set 2 has not been restockable that much from distro recently.
I think people are sleeping on set 2.
Yeah, recently though,
I think they're sleeping on set 2.
Available.
It's funny to see the number of boxes being purchased.
Yeah,
I think set 2 is like the sleeper. I think that's
that's why it's so cool.
I can't believe that everything is so like I can't believe first chapter hasn't had some form of. I mean, even with the restock, boxes are $220.
Yeah, I mean, like and it's
like
selling.
they're primed to come right back up too. Like
yeah,
I don't know.
It is. Lorcana has they have exceeded, I think, everybody's expectations but mine. They have met my expectations, which I'm proud of them for. Good job, Bob Iger.
No, they exceeded my expectations. I
know,
thought
that's what you said.
I didn't think it would do this well.
They exceeded your expectations. They met mine. Good job, Bob Iger.
They far exceeded.
I know they have.
Yeah. I'm all in on Gokana. Speaking of things I'm all not in on, Metazoo and the Metazoo minute.
No, the Metazoo 2 minutes and 27 seconds or whatever it was.
Sponsor. You gotta go over our sponsor.
Oh yeah, hold on.
This is not a real sponsor, but you're the one who's saying they're sponsored.
Andrew, the artist who gave us the cards last week, our sponsor this week, put up his Instagram.
I don't have it in front of me. It's the Flatwoods Monster Museum. Everybody, that's
not the guy. That's not who sponsored us. It's the artist.
It might be Reebok, according to
it's the
these
same
clips.
guy, dude. Yes. Do you want me to read the letter? You obviously don't care.
Read the letter again.
I'm getting the Flatwoods Monster Museum up. Oh, let's get their reviews up. That's fun. Let's read their reviews. 345 Google reviews.
It's a lot of Google
Small
reviews.
but free museum. Took less than 20 minutes to go through the one room. Lots of miniature replicas of the monster. The Flatwoods Monster Museum, everybody. Sponsor of the Mike Waddell sponsored Metazoo Minute.
Nope. All right. So Mike went on to some guy's Twitch. Is that right?
Some guy. It was live What? What are we
Bailey.
talking about?
I am so excited to hear George try to explain what happened in a summary right here.
So
I'm
baffling.
so excited for this
God,
moment.
Just let this die.
Can I eat my booster snacks while I
plug.
enjoy it?
Nobody
You need
knows.
to grab
Nobody
your
knows.
snacks, everybody. Oh,
So-
we should do a prize for anybody who sends us a picture of eating booster snacks while watching our podcast.
You know who you are, runner of the May the Zoo Be With You Twitter account. Do your thing.
Yeah.
I actually
So
know
we
who
went
that is.
What?
Know who
He-
it is.
What? He went on Bailey's, I think, Twitch or YouTube or stream or
Whatnot.
whatnot.
The scam.
Didn't say that. That was Louis. He went on to Bailey's something or another and said the most confusing series of sentences I've ever heard in my life. So he said he was basically forced out 3 months ago. That was news to everybody.
After posting the thing.
So Louis, here's my question. We don't know that.
That's an assumption. That's when I would have.
Was he forced out before that, or was he forced to say that then kicked out, or like what happened? Like
I think he said on the thing that was as a result of what he put. Basically, after he posted it,
he did not
he
say
did
that.
not. That was
He did
not.
not.
Did you watch it?
I watched it. That's what I thought I heard.
No, he did not.
You did not watch it.
Oh,
You did
yeah.
not watch it. That is the takeaway from this podcast. So
I
far.
recorded it on my phone. I have it on my phone.
That
Why?
was
It's
not the
on
question.
YouTube.
Did you record? The question was, did you listen to it?
Yeah.
also
So
on YouTube.
so he said he was forced out. Then he said like they said they were going bankrupt. That part makes sense to me.
That's no.
Then he said, but it's been 3 months. And then he like tried to like insinuate somebody was selling Metazoo behind their back and not giving that money to creditors.
No, he was like they were supposed to sell all the product and give it to creditors, but instead they're just dumping it. And I was like, yeah, because spoiler alert, Mike, nobody wants your
Wait.
500,000 boxes.
Oh, but this is where it gets confusing because before he said all that, he said, "This is unacceptable. This is taking too much time. I was forced out, but I'm coming back."
I'm coming back to save the day.
So it's forced out.
He said that some products that weren't meant for public consumption had been released to the public.
And thrown away.
We're going to
which
break
is
down
what-
these statements,
No,
right?
That was two separate statements.
Two separate statements.
Which is just the boxes that went to Five Below. That's what he's talking about.
We
I
know.
don't think that's accurate.
That's what he's talking about. There were different colored boxes from the Hello Kitty set that popped up in Five Below that have different cards. You obviously haven't been paying attention to the Metazoo world. I watch their videos every day. I've been enamored
definitely
by
follows
it.
them.
That passes my spell test. That
Um,
statement.
I believe there's also some samples that were released, Louis.
Yeah, the Mothman.
Right.
Yeah.
So not
and
just
so-
the Five Below boxes.
And like his argument was that that money wasn't going to creditors, which I will say is a little rich. I will say that was a little rich. So then he said, like, it's been 3 months. They haven't declared bankruptcy yet, so I'm coming back. And there's a lot of questions here. First, who booted you? Second, how can you come back? Like, if you were like fired from the board,
Third, you want to be on the podcast next week and chat about it because we'll do it, baby.
like what?
That might not be a safe invite right now. He might take it.
Do it. Why? I would bring it on, baby.
Oh my God.
He might.
Will you eat your chips? So like the, it's like, you know, whoever like removed him, did they bring him back? Is this like the WWE music? He comes in, I'm back, and everybody's like, "What the hell are you doing here?" Like what? Like what is happening?
I'm guessing that they're not super happy that he was on.
I'm guessing
all the people to
none
pick,
of this made anybody happy.
So,
of all the people to pick,
the big takeaway here was it's chaos.
And then he said he's gonna like make some creditors whole, then declare bankruptcy. Or let me walk it back. He said he's gonna give some money to some creditors and then declare bankruptcy.
Super illegal.
That's not the way bankruptcy works.
Super
is my understanding.
Super illegal.
Maybe he was just watching too much Office. He was like, I declare bankruptcy.
I mean, that's what he did. That's what he did the first time.
What he did.
I mean, like, if like a bankruptcy trustee is not there to protect the debtor, they are there to protect the creditor. In this case, creditors, it sounds like.
I'm all for this. Mike needs to amp it up so we can get the absolute greatest Metazoo movie of all time.
So
I mean, like we're well on the way. I have no clue what I saw. I have no clue who's back. I have no clue who's running this. I have no clue who's getting money. I have no clue what's for sale. I have no idea what's happening.
There's no way they're like, hey, let's do this. Let's bring Mike back. Let's put him on some random whatnot stream without any official announcement, and we'll have him do real things. This was obviously Mike making a terrible decision and going on live Pokemon.
So
but he said he's coming back. So like if he doesn't come back, like what does that mean? And also, who's running the company right now?
So couple things here. He either can come back.
Yeah.
Which means he was not forced out. He walked.
Right.
If he can come, or
right. I agree with that.
He is so irrationally viewing the situation that he thinks because something hasn't happened yet, he can force his way back into a company that he was forced out of. Either scenario does not give me much confidence in anything going on.
And I will also say, like 3 months between realizing you have to go bankrupt and declaring bankruptcy, not insane to me. That's not crazy to me. Like, this is going to be a complex bankruptcy, is my guess. There's a lot of illiquid assets. It's a lot. Like there's a lot. There's
all in the dumpster outside of Golden Distribution.
There's a lot of questions about like what the IP is worth. What do you actually like? Like we saw, like the Metazoo IP might not be trademarked. Is that right? Like some of the stuff may not be trademarked correctly. I mean, like there's all types of wild rumors that we don't know what's
picture
true,
you sent that was like broken in
what is not true. Like we have no clue what's going on.
IP is not trademarked. Can we?
So it would still be
our logo is safe.
Let me pull it up.
The logo is safe because it's from a $5 font. Their entire their entire logo is a $5 font.
Even beyond that.
So it looks like it would still likely be copyrighted, is my guess. Like there's a lot of questions about like whoever takes over this bankruptcy is going to be a very wealthy person. Like whoever the trustee is going to get paid handsomely. This is going to be an incredibly messy and complex bankruptcy, is my best guess. Like there's illiquid assets, there's IP, there's my guess is like it sounds like there's a lot of creditors. You know, he said like pre-orders weren't made whole, which we knew. Artists have publicly said that they weren't paid. Like
I'm sure like companies that were
we can criticize game creators on this podcast, right? Like we can do that. They're not people that spent thousands of dollars on sorcery cards.
I mean, they'll send us nasty emails and
say you can't read.
And hometowntcg@gmail.com and get in my DMs, baby.
Talk about their parents.
For the Metazoo fans, even if let's pretend we create this scenario where Mike swoops in and he's saving the day. He doesn't elicit much confidence by coming on and saying, guess what? We're going to do our best to pay down a couple creditors. And then if that doesn't work, we will be declaring bankruptcy. Getting out there and saying your goal is to declare bankruptcy, probably not going to help your bankruptcy case.
No.
Probably not going to look good. So he's not being advised by anybody, at least anybody who knows what they're doing. So even in the best case scenario where he is stepping in to do right by Metazoo and the people, he's doing it in such a way that is so broken and so wrong that none of it makes sense.
What I think Metazoo needs to do, and like this has to be a board thing. It clearly, like I don't think it should be a mic thing.
The doors.
What Metazoo needs to do is they need to come out and say, "Listen, this is where we are in the process. This is like what we have in assets. This is what we have in debts, and like we don't see a path forward, or we do see a path forward." I don't care which one they say, but like they need to say.
Do you want me to answer that for you?
They
Mike
need
let
to
the
say
cat out of the bag on that one, though.
They need to say what they're going to do. They need to say who's in charge. Like that's the biggest takeaway. Is like,
yes,
who's running this company? Like, I don't know anybody who knew Mike was forced out 3 months ago.
I mean, like, I don't think anybody's surprised that they were like, "Hey, Mike, you can't talk anymore."
That's not what he said.
No,
he didn't say I have a gag order. He said he was basically like booted.
Yeah, but that makes sense to me. He went on
that whether it makes sense or not doesn't matter. Like I thought Mike owned a majority of the company.
Oh, I'm sure he does. He was.
If Mike owned a majority of the company, who's booting him?
Yeah,
I guess that's true. Unless he's derelict in duty.
What's going on here? Like there's like nothing.
This is why we need the movie.
The majority of the company. Isn't there something with derelict in duty where he makes that statement, which is a
fiduciary obligation? And like I think, I'm sure they're incorporated in Delaware. That is, they have a very.
There's a reason they're incorporated in Delaware.
Yeah, there's a reason everybody's incorporated in Delaware. They have a very generous statute. They have a very generous reading of the law, unless you're Elon Musk.
Basically, also where Mike's legal advisor's from.
Like. Delaware. I guess like I don't understand anything that's happening. I don't understand what anybody's next steps are. I have no clue what's happening, and I don't think I'm alone.
Live on a Whatnot stream too is
just declare bankruptcy. This isn't actually hard. If there's no path forward and you have more liabilities than assets, why like come back at all? Just call a bankruptcy lawyer.
So I can 100% tell you what's going on.
Oh yeah,
the train's off the tracks.
Scoopy.
The train's off the tracks.
Josh is like, I bought Metazoo for 35 cents last time.
This isn't a Scoopy, buddy. The train's off the tracks.
I don't get it.
There's either a rational decision-making group that's being usurped or at least spoken over, much like this podcast, someone who is not on the same path, let's just say it the nicest way possible, as the rest of the organization, or the rest of that organization said, fine, you want to own the majority of the company?
Trying to figure out if you're talking about me or him. I like how me and Louie were both like, is he talking about me or the other one?
Well, I was talking about Mike, but for the last 2 years, it could have been either of you.
I think you guys are wild to think that Mike got permission from Metazoo to do
Nobody thinks that.
Okay.
Nobody thinks that.
Okay, great.
I said the train is off the tracks, buddy.
Nobody has said that. Nobody thinks that.
I lean towards like they said, Mike, you're out. You can't talk. Here's an NDA, and Mike signed the NDA. And like I don't know, maybe that NDA had a timeline, or Mike just like one day showed up and was like, NDA. I don't care anymore. I'm going to break the NDA to be like, hey, Metazoo's not doing this right. So he's saving some sort of relationship with the creditors because he had that relationship. And maybe he's
going on and saying
I cannot imagine somebody
bankruptcy, you're not saving any relationship with the creditors.
I also can't imagine somebody who like he has a pre-order with Mike is like, thank God Mike's coming back. Like that vibe would surprise me, if I'm being honest.
This is what makes me believe that
as somebody who has a pre-order with Metazoo,
you forget your Pokedex.
Yeah, let me.
I did not leave this feeling more optimistic.
Let me tell you something, George. You don't.
Yeah, you're not getting money back.
You don't have a pre-order from Metazoo anymore, my friend. There's two scenarios.
Them putting all the boxes in the dumpster is so funny to me.
So shout out to King Pokemon. He said it was not that. He said it was them receiving product.
Yeah.
It was in the dumpster.
He said it was not a dumpster.
It was a dumpster.
No,
okay.
they're receiving area is painted green metal with a black lid, and sometimes they accidentally put trash in there.
And in the eye
every Tuesday, but it doesn't make it.
I don't know what you're referring to with King Pokemon doing that, but like I'm not sure how you can convince me.
Look me in the eye and disagree with King Pokemon, the king of your favorite TCG.
if he's saying it's not a dumpster, I disagree with King Pokemon.
I am Team King Pokemon. I want that to be.
It doesn't feel like it right now.
I am Team him.
Doesn't feel like it.
I can disagree with my teammates. Maybe he's
Only if
getting
they
old.
talk about Pokemon, though.
He's getting old. Maybe his eyesight's not great. Like,
Wow.
I don't know.
If this is the person on your team, you don't need any enemies.
It's definitely a dumpster, though.
Nothing makes sense.
No.
Like, I don't understand what's happening. Candidly, I don't think anybody knows what's happening.
There's two scenarios. Mike's in or the crew is in. But if Mike is still leading that ship
I
at
think
this
it's much
moment,
more
the rest of the
dangerous
crew
than
just
that.
jumped off.
I think they both could be in.
I
That's the much more dangerous scenario.
That's wild.
Is that they're like one side is arguing one thing, the other is arguing something wildly different, and like
Only one
Predators are
person's
monkey in
doing
the
it
middle.
publicly, though. Only one side's doing it publicly.
This Netflix documentary is going to make so
none of
much
this should be
money.
public. Like going
will be.
public on this stuff is never.
Going onto a microphone and saying my intent is to declare bankruptcy broke my brain. I called you instantly and I said
I think
that's
saying
not
I'm
gonna
going
go
to
well. You can just do that.
Is not wildly stupid. It's not wildly insane. I think like saying I'm going to pay off some creditors and then go
It
bankrupt.
was the whole statement. Yes,
It's like
I
that
called
part
you
of
right
it's
away
like,
and said, "Can you do that?"
no, I mean like so very very famously. I forget the name now.
Bernie
like,
Madoff.
So no, thank you. That part I did remember. Some guy who owns a professional sports team gave Bernie Madoff a ton of money.
Yeah,
and the guy had to pay a lot of it back of his earnings. Because like he was like, listen, the trustee for the bankruptcy was like, listen, like that belongs to all creditors. So like if Mike were to give money to certain creditors and not others, I have no idea why a trustee wouldn't go after that money when bankruptcy is finally declared. Like I don't like, and also like I can't. Do they have secured creditors? Do they have unsecured creditors? Could they get a secured creditor today? Like how would that work,
Dude.
Like this is total chaos.
I love
I
it.
like that the subtext of the message too was like, "Mike's coming on, Metazoo's back, baby," and the actual announcement was like, "We're going to declare bankruptcy. I'm saving the day by declaring bankruptcy. I swear."
And not understanding how to do it.
Yeah,
Like I don't like.
And also doing so
That's the
very
part I
illegally.
don't get. Is like, just call a bankruptcy lawyer.
Yeah.
Dude,
There's thousands of them.
and he has ties to business communities.
I'm not
Like-
more.
Well, I believe personal ties where he could get some advice on this and contact some people. The fact that he's just
Google
firing
top
from the hip.
bankruptcy lawyers, and you're
All right.
boom done. Like either declare bankruptcy or don't.
Oh, don't do this. This is the most exciting thing we've ever talked about on this podcast.
We're going in circles.
You guys both got to eat like a year and a half worth of cold chicken.
Not me, baby.
No. Yes, you.
No.
100%.
If I have to, you have to, big boy.
Sure.
Buddy.
Mike is
We
go.
could-
You
know
said something
hold on,
very
Louis,
similar. I
Louis,
think.
you said there's 15 days of May the Zoo be with you content out there. There's at least a day's worth of clips of you saying, "Yeah, Mike's the goat," of agreeing with him. At least a day's worth of clips.
It's pretty sad.
Missed this one. This is why we won't take sponsorships from TCGs.
God, I did not miss this at all.
All right, calm down there, person who started your channel on another TCG. All right,
Oh yeah, I
let's
missed
chill
that.
out there, big boy.
Listen, I said I didn't miss this.
You started.
Also,
I said I didn't miss this.
Two of you
Don't
uploaded
act
your
like-
lives to start a podcast, to start a YouTube channel about a TCG that, like, maybe
Don't act like, also,
I didn't-
Josh,
I didn't-
don't act like you didn't show up on this podcast after Metazoo had already deteriorated and was going to the dumpster.
Got me come lately over there.
I didn't quit my job. Okay,
That's fair. You're better than
employed.
Louis.
While I started my podcast on my channel on a dead TCG, stayed employed. B, pivoted to Magic around the same time, and also maybe pushed one other creator in this roundup to pivot to Magic also. And C, I keep my failures very close to me. I'm well aware of them. Yeah.
I don't have a Metazoo box.
So I will say this: the Metazoo boxes are pumping, which is great for me. I'm selling all my Kickstarter
Let's
boxes.
go sell, baby.
Who's buying this? Like, all right, like, if Mike doesn't come on next week, I want somebody who's actively buying Metazoo right now. I want them on. I like no hate, and I mean that.
I
No hate.
want Mike to come on so I can say, okay, Mike, first question.
I just want to know, like, why are you buying?
Mike's going to come on and he's going to tell us that this has all been a ploy to finally get his Netflix show. That's what he's always wanted.
I'm in.
Is the Netflix
I'm in.
show, which would make way more money than any of the TCG thing ever did.
Are you back on the Mike is GOAT train?
Yeah, Mike is GOAT. I've been telling you guys this for 4 years. He's just doing that to
You
get the
have been
Netflix show.
spinning this. You have been spinning like a top this episode.
It's called sarcasm, George. One day you'll learn.
I didn't pick up on that.
All right, everyone. Most important thing of the day. Make sure you go to boostersnack.us.com.
You can know their website if you're going to pump the product.
Yeah.
It'll be a link in the Discord in the description of the video,
Jesus.
and we'll pin it.
Disaster.
Use the code collector50 to get 50% off, and make
Your
sure
first order.
make sure you eat yourself some chips.
And definitely don't make new accounts and keep getting the 50% off, guys. That's not right.
Is
Don't
that
do
a
that.
thing?
No, I doubt.
I'm like so bad at technology.
No, it's 100%. It used to be a thing. All the systems now are tied to addresses wherever you ship it to.
Oh,
They got smart on us.
Yeah.
They got smart
Because people were just making new accounts and being like, another 50.
Also, I want everybody to screenshot our faces now and watch us get fatter as we eat more chips as this podcast
Yeah, I think it'll be
progresses.
burn weight as well.
Yeah, I'm on a diet and I just ate a bag of chips. That's probably not great.
Yeah, not
I think
great.
it's great. Were they delicious?
They really were.
They are really good.
I did not want them to be, I got to tell you, because now next week I have an excuse to eat another bag of chips.
I have 2 boxes I got to eat.
All right, everybody, go subscribe to Josh's channel over at Hometown TCG. Make sure you hit the like button here, hit subscribe here, go to KitchenTableTCG.com and hop in the Discord server, and go leave all your comments about George in the comment section below.
And
We
be
love
nice
y'all.
to him this week.
Were they mean to me last week?
Yeah. They kind of always are. It's okay.
Why? What did I do
not-
last week?
It's not great.
You used to be a man of the people.
Yeah.
Now
I'm
you're
still a man of the
like-
people.
There's like one or two
You've kind of
those.
taken Louis' position in the ivory tower, bud.
Yeah.
A lot of punching down.
Is that true? No,
Mhm.
it's not. That part's not true.
Remember to be
I'm
kind to
done.
the people around you, unlike George, and
What?
may the zoo be with you.
And also with you.
No, and also with Mike. I'm not punching down anymore.